handle it, because it's then in black and white. What PFI was trying to create was shades of gray, where it was creating a certain social legitimacy in the community, with all the 8 frontal organizations that have been banned along with the PFI, tell you that how they were using the campuses, women's groups, this, that, empowerment, creating fronts where money was being sent in.
Okay.
So this whole network, this quasi social network, this crackdown is was very, very necessary, because it's quite dangerous when such groups with such ulterior agenda.
Vikram Singh, so 8 organizations, 8 affiliated organizations along with PFI have been banned, includes the All India Imams Council, the Rehab India Foundation, the Campus Front of India, their women's wing, all of that has been banned along with the PFI. But their political wing, the SDPI, which has contested elections in the past as well, Vikram Singh, that has not been banned. Is that because that does not fall under the remit of the central government? Or will this enable, if the political wing is not being banned, will it enable the political wing to undertake nefarious activities under the garb of it being political activity? So you have to unmute, please. Yeah, Vikram Singh.
Zaka, good evening. I would say that the PFI has an insidious move, picked up all aspects of human activity, whether it is students, whether it is academics, whether it's women welfare, whether it's charity, whether it is development, and you name it, and the PFI has their finger in their pie. Now, if the PFI has been banned, and I would also draw your attention to the fact that recently we discussed the Criminal Identification Act 2022 also, wherein all the biometrics will be taken of every person arrested now. There can be no comparison between the banning of SEMI and the banning of the Indian Mujahideen and banning of the PFI, because then the data collected was very half-baked. Now for sure, the history sheet would incorporate the biometrics, the Aadhaar, the PAN card, the mobile number and everything. Therefore, to metamorphose or to have a new avatar in certain organizations will be very much difficult. But banning of the SDPI is a natural corollary that once you starve the roots, the shoots will die down automatically. Now, the SDPI is the political wing, but it depends upon their cadres for the funding, for the manpower, for booth capturing and other intimidation of the electorate so as to be successful during the course of elections. But when the cadre dies down, and I dare say that this unprecedented action that has been taken 22nd of September and 27th of September, leading to the arrests of hundreds of people in both the goes, collection of incriminating evidence, I don't think that they would have the resilience even to come back again. And YD sections 2, 3, 4 of the UAPA, the banning has happened. Section 40 of the UAPA would ensure that the funds are forfeited, and all their funds under the PMLA Act, they will not only be forfeited, they will be attached, movable and improperly attached. That will be one blow which they will not be able to do.
But okay, I want to ask Swapnil Kothari again. I'm borrowing from what Mr. Owaisi said, because he made this an issue in his press conference earlier, where he said the UAPA provisions like Section 2 and 3 will ensure that many of these people will have to stay in jail without getting bail for sometimes up to 2 years. And he cited the Siddiq Kapan example. Let me ask Swapnil Kothari, even in a terror case, even in a case where there is heinous charges against individuals, and in this case there are more than 300 of them who have been charged with these heinous charges, as per the due process of law, should someone be incarcerated without trial, without access to bail for a period up to 2 years, as we have seen in recent cases?
Zaka, that's a very good question. But then UAPA is a draconian law, and COFE, COSA, UAPA, NDPS, these are all draconian legislations, and people can be incarcerated without access to bail for a certain period of time if the legislature so provides in the statute, or in this case, in the UAPA, if you are a member of the organization, even after it's been banned. So 2, 3, 4, in as much as draconian as they may sound, but that's still a challenge is possible to that, because the tribunal has to then decide by the report of the government of the Ministry of Home Affairs as to whether this ban is appropriate or not. So it's not that PFI is without any legal remedy. Now, how much that legal remedy is going to fructify is a different issue. I don't think it will, because the way the raids have been conducted, the way the evidence has been led, it clearly indicates that this has got no tomorrow as such. I believe this organization has no tomorrow. But be that as it may, Zaka, I am going to stretch this argument a little further. This is a great move. It's a long overdue move by the central government to ban PFI. What about the other offshoots of this organization? What about the other branches of this organization? What about the other cohorts, or should I say affiliations or associations of this organization, which may be functioning alongside? You cannot just work out a terror network by yourself. You have to have some certain, great hands along with you.
No, but there are 8 other organizations, affiliated organizations, that have also been banned.
True. Yes, that is true. Those 8 alone may not be sufficient, because then you have to look at those 8 of the other 8. In the sense, you have to keep multiplying that, because those other 8 also could be having their own affiliations with others also. So it could be just that kind of a spiral network where you go into a Byzantine maze of looking after one to connecting to the other. So it's a kind of a domino effect where you keep going until you arrive at the root of it and try to extricate this from the roots. Otherwise, this ban by itself is not sufficient. You can ban 8, you can ban 10 organizations, but it is not going to be sufficient at all. You will continue to have this problem time and again, and this will really resurface even after a period of time. So this is something which I believe needs to, really need to be taken care of, not only by the government, but also by the administrative machinery. The police and the NIA also have to work in tandem as far as this aspect is concerned.
Let me also ask Maulana Qadri Saab about, आज 2-3 political leaders आगे आके उन्होंने ये बोला कि ठीक है, PFI पे बैन आपने लगा दी, ठीक है, अच्छी बात है, लेकिन आप राइट विंग के एक्सट्रीम ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को क्यों नहीं बैन कर रहे हैं? और उन्होंने साइट किया आरएसएस के एग्जांपल. क्या ये कंपैरिजन वैलिड है या कुछ फॉल्स इक्विवेलेंस है मौलाना अली कादरी? क्योंकि अभी तक तो आरएसएस के लोग ऐसे डायरेक्टली इम्प्लिकेट नहीं हुए हैं इन हीनस क्राइम्स लाइक टेररिज्म केसेस.
देखिए जाकिर साहब, डायरेक्टली इन्वॉल्व नहीं है, यह बात बिल्कुल सही है. आरएसएस से जो भी अपने पद पर हो या आरएसएस की कोई पोस्ट पर हो, लेकिन आरएसएस की विचारधारा रखने वाले लोग, जैसे कि मक्का मस्जिद बम ब्लास्ट में इन्वॉल्व रहे, मालेगांव के बम ब्लास्ट में इन्वॉल्व रहे, अजमेर की दरगाह के बम ब्लास्ट में इन्वॉल्व रहे, यही नहीं, यही आरएसएस थी ना सर कि हिंदुस्तान में मुसलमानों को कैंसर कहा था. लेकिन हम वो पास्ट में नहीं जाना चाह रहे, इसीलिए क्योंकि आपने देखा कि 4 डेज बैक मोहन भागवत जी ने मदरसे को जो है गए और वहां के लड़कों से मिला. तो हम तो हर वक्त सौहार्द और संवाद के लिए तैयार है. और आपके डिबेट में और कभी एक बात हो रही थी कि मुस्लिम ब्रदरहुड पर, तो मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा सर कि मुस्लिम ब्रदरहुड हमारे देश के लिए कोई घातक नहीं है. वैसे ही जिस तरीके से आरएसएस सारे हिंदूज को एक प्लेटफॉर्म पर जमा करते हुए अपनी कम्युनिटी को डेवलप करना चाह रही है, और वैसे ही कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के सर्कल में रहते हुए, संविधान के दायरे में रहते हुए, अगर कोई आदमी मुस्लिम ब्रदरहुड की बात करता है, साथ ही साथ अपने देश की भी बात करता है, तो इसमें क्या बुराई है? अगर वो अपनी कम्युनिटी को डेवलप करना चाहता है तो इसमें कोई बुराई बात नहीं है. लेकिन पीएफआई का जो मैटर था, वो लोग मुस्लिम ब्रदरहुड के नाम पर एंटी नेशन एक्टिविटीज कर रहे थे, इसीलिए हमने पीएफआई को खिलाफ बोला, उनको बैन लगाने की बात की, जो आज बैन हो गया. और एक बात जो ओवैसी साहब ने कही कि यूएपीए वाली बात, तो सर ऐसा कई पास्ट में देखा गया कि इनोसेंट मुस्लिम्स के ऊपर बड़े बड़े सेक्शंस के तहत बुक कर दिए गए केसेस, 2 साल के बाद उनको कोर्ट ने रिलीज किया. तो ऐसी कोई घटना पीएफआई के नाम पर मुस्लिम यूथ के साथ ना हो, ये सारे लोगों को फिक्र है, इंक्लूडिंग मी ऑल्सो.
मिसयूज ऑफ लॉ वो है, मैं मना नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मिसयूज ऑफ लॉ वो वाला कंसर्न आपका है. But I want to ask Abhijit Majumdar again, this equivalence that is being seemingly drawn. You had Sitaram Yechuri also talk about, in the context of why bans won't work. He said RSS was banned 3 times. Did it stop them? The point that's being made is there is some kind of an equivalence, you can call it a false equivalence, being sought to be established between, radical views on the Muslim side vis-a-vis radical views on the Hindu side. and what Maulana Qadri said, how about the people who were arrested in the Makkah Masjid blast, the Malegaon blast? They had association with right-wing organizations, but none of those cases, it's been pending 10, 12, 15 years, have been brought to any kind of fruition. How do you respond to that?
Very simple. I mean, these false equivalences actually, have no meaning simply because, tell me even, one instance where Hindu terror has been, proven. In fact, quite the opposite. We have seen, past home ministers making false notings on files to prove the whole existence of Hindu terror, so that they can simply appease a community. Man, face the truth. Learn to face the truth, and then it'll be much better for the community if you face the truth. You cannot make a false equivalence with RSS, and also in the name of Islamist, Islamism. Look at the number of people killed every month, every week worldwide across 25, 30, 35 countries. There are Islamist attacks across those countries. So, and also, by the way, Kader Saab, I didn't mean by Muslim Brotherhood, I don't mean the Ummah. I meant the group called Muslim Brotherhood, which has been the fountain of much of the terror link thinking, activities, inspiration, groups. That I don't mean Muslims in general. I meant the particular group which has its headquarters in Egypt.
No, so I want to...
This is, false equivalence will get us nowhere, which is why Sitaram Yechury's party is more or less, Sitaram Yechury is irrelevant. His party in Kerala has been actually probably the most active state government against the PFI, because it has been, the state has borne the brunt of the worst of PFI so far.
Okay.
Among the people who have gone, 66 Indians who have gone to fight for ISIS in Syria and Iraq, many of them have been inspired by PFI. TJ Joseph's wrists have been cut by PFI.
So I want to ask Vikram Singh that in Kerala itself, where this group seemingly originated from, there are more than 300 cases. 300 cases against the PFI. In Karnataka too, there are about 310 cases. The point that's being espoused, or the point that's being asked, is that ultimately, if this group is tapping on a perceived sense of resentment or grievance among some sections of Muslims, then who is the onus on to prove that such a grievance is misplaced? Is it on the state? Is it on moderate Muslims within the community? A large majority, an overwhelming majority of Muslims are moderate, but because of the actions of a few in organizations like the PFI, the rest of the community gets a bad name. So who is the onus on to say that, look, what they are trying to do is propaganda, what they are trying to do is radicalize, is to extremize. The reality on the ground does not bear with that kind of propaganda that they're trying to propagate.
Zaka, is it for me?
Yes, Vikram Singh, yes.
Zaka, the first thing to do is the duty of the state to ensure that no radicalization happens. And radicalization happens only when there is a perceived sense of persecution. We are a vibrant democracy, and the Muslims are the happiest and the safest anywhere on the planet in India. Number two, we have people like Honorable काबिल एहतराम मौलाना कादरी साहब हैं, जिनकी आवाज़ दूर दूर तक जाती है, वो मरहम का काम करती है। मौलाना कादरी साहब की आवाज़, और जिसके ऊपर मौलाना साहब हाथ रख देंगे, मुझे कोई शक व शुबा नहीं कि वो बेगुनाह ही होगा, वो किसी गलत आदमी की पैरवी नहीं करेंगे। The likes of Mr. Qadri, a sane voice from the Muslim community, and also the majority community has a role to play. But my last observation is that after the Mumbai blast, you had a book by the name of Mumbai Hamla RSS Ki Sajish, and the likes of Digvijay Singh were the one who released the book. Mr. Sapnil Kothari will bear witness to the fact. And there are such people who spread slow poison against one community or the other. They should end once and for all. The nation has to be resolute and rise as one person, that India first, and there will be zero tolerance as far as national security is concerned of any party, any individual, Zaka.
All right, I'm completely out of time. I want to thank all our guests, and we'll see how the story goes forth. whether this ban on the PFI will be effective to the extent that no person associated with this outlawed organization now will be able to further terrorize or further radicalize young Muslims for whatever perceived grievance there may exist. Let me now, as we wrap up, a key reminder of programming that's coming up. Indian of the Year. Do not forget to vote for your favorite sports person, the athlete that you feel deserves to be the Indian of the Year in sports. Just go to indianoftheyear.com and vote. In a moment, Ridhima joining you from the biggest.
On the PFI, just a few minutes ago, a team of police officials from the local police station of Shaheen Bagh have arrived out here at the PFI office. Now remember, this office was actually sealed by the NIA on the 22nd of September when the initial raids happened, in which approximately 147 people were arrested from across the country. All these were senior leaders of the PFI, and yesterday the workers, on-ground workers of the PFI were arrested. Now a team of police officials have arrived over here just to make sure that no untoward situation arises over here, because PFI, this is the only office of PFI in the national capital, and this could be said as one of the headquarters of the PFI, and they actually have kind of a support on ground, especially in this area like Shaheen Bagh, where people actually say that people from the PFI have actually helped them on many occasions, be it for education or whatever. So yes, they have kind of a support over here, and just to make sure that no untoward situation arises, because yes, there will be public sentiment, there will be people who will be raising their voice against this ban on PFI, and that is the reason why the administration is taking absolutely every preventive step that could be taken just to make sure that no law and order situation arises, and if at all it arises, it could be contained at the earliest. And that is the reason why local police officials have already arrived over here. They are making sure that no one is allowed to gather in this area to carry out any sort of protest, because remember, this entire area has Section 144 has been imposed in this entire area approximately 10 days ago, and for the next 2 months that is going to continue as well. So yes, the police and the administration is already taking all the preventive steps that it can take just to make sure that a situation like Kerala that we saw happening on the 23rd of September or on the evening of 22nd September, where massive protests happen over there, there was public unrest, that should not happen on the streets of national capital, and that is the prime focus of the agencies as of now, and that is the reason why we are seeing all preventive measures being taken in the national capital just to make sure that no untoward situation arises, no sloganeering or no marches are being allowed to carried out to support the PFI as of now, Toya.
Anshul, I'd like if you could shed more of the light now on the community reactions that we've seen since yesterday. I think you were right now touching on information that we've received that a few of the people arrested yesterday were Delhi University students. But apart from that, I also believe that there were people who were considered the face of the Shaheen Bagh protest against the CA NRC from a few years ago that were also picked up during this round of arrests. Is that accurate?
So yes, many workers of the PFI were actually at the forefront of the Shaheen Bagh protest that happened during when the CA was actually passed by the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. So yes, there were workers of the PFI that were actually involved and were actually at the forefront of carrying out that entire protest, and that is the reason why we saw that the people who were arrested over the last 2 raids that happened over the last 1 week, they could actually.
Good evening, you're watching the biggest exclusive right here on CNN News 18. I'm Ridhima Bhatnagar. The flashpoint between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party has intensified once again. This after liquor businessman Sameer Mahindra was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate in Delhi's now defunct excise policy. Now, the arrest of Sameer Mahindra, the managing director of Indo Spirits that distributes liquor, comes just a day after the Central Bureau of Investigation arrested Vijay Nair, AAP's communication chief, and also a person seen as a close aide of Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. Introduced in November last year, the now strapped Delhi excise policy has become a flashpoint between the AAP as well as the BJP. This after Delhi's LG VK Saxena had ordered a probe into its implementation. After the LG's probe orders, the Delhi government scrapped the policy in July this year, and in August, the CBI had launched its first series of raids that we saw play out in the national capital. Manish Sisodia was one of the 15 people named in the FIR by the CBI. In a video message post these arrests, AAP convener Arvind Kejriwal rubbished all these allegations against Vijay Nair, calling him just another party worker. He also hit out at the agencies, alleging that Vijay Nair actually was threatened to name Manish Sisodia, and failing to do so, he was threatened with an arrest. Today, the Rouse Avenue Court has sent both Vijay Nair to 5 days custody with the CBI and a custody with the ED for Sameer Mahindru as well. So is this just following as far as rule of law is concerned, or is this vendetta politics?
विजय नायर की गिरफ्तारी यह बिल्कुल दर्शा रही है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी जो कह रही थी, जो स्टिंग बता रहे थे और जो जांच बता रही है कि दिल्ली की शराब नीति में बहुत बड़ा घोटाला हुआ है।
जिस तरह का पूरा माहौल है, इनका पूरा एफर्ट है कि किस तरह से आम आदमी पार्टी को कुचला जाए।
So who are these individuals who've been arrested, and what is their connection with the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia? Let's break down these details in terms of who are these key players and what are the allegations against them. Let's first begin with Manish Sisodia. He is the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister. In the FIR that was filed by the CBI, out of the 15 accused, he was one of them. Now let's talk to you about the two arrests that have been made. One is Vijay Nair, the other is Sameer Mahindru. Who is Sameer Mahindru and what is the allegation against him? He actually paid money to Sisodia's aides. That's the allegation against Sameer Mahindru. Also, the other allegation is charged for money laundering. As I pointed out, both these people have been arrested and various custodies have been granted, one to the CBI and one to the Enforcement Directorate. There are other players under the scanner as well. Arjun Pandey, Amit Arora and Arun Pillai, called as Sisodia's close aides. These are all details that we're picking up as far as the FIR that was filed by the CBI. What is the allegation against these individuals? That they collected money from various liquor barons. There is an allegation of quid pro quo that many are saying reaches to the top leadership of the Aam Aadmi Party. They forwarded the collected money to Vijay Nair, who again has been arrested and has been sent to a CBI custody for about 5 days. Collected anywhere between 2 to 4 crores from Sameer Mahindru, the other man who also now has been arrested. Now let's talk to you about this man, Vijay Nair. Why has he been arrested? He is seen somebody to be extremely close to the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. The Aam Aadmi Party today has come out all guns blazing. They've stood by Vijay Nair and they've defended him as well. He's also the Aam Aadmi Party's communication strategist. Collected money on Sisodia's behalf. That's the allegation against him as far as Vijay Nair is concerned. Also bribed the accused and public servants. So as I said, the allegation of quid pro quo. Then there are other players as well. Arva Gopi Krishnan, Anand Tiwari and Pankaj Bhatnagar. They're all former excise officials. What is the allegation against them? That they actually were people who received crime proceeds. So as I said, this nexus was of quid pro quo. Vijay Nair bribed these excise officials. Before I bring in my guest, we're actually now getting some very crucial updates coming in because CNN News 18 has now accessed the order copy of Vijay Nair's custody, where the CBI is now alleging that Vijay Nair actually received 6% commission from liquor barons. We're also now getting an update as far as Sameer Mahindru is concerned. We're understanding that the ED, the Enforcement Directorate, has gotten custody of Sameer Mahindru till the 6th of October. These are details that my colleague Ananya Bhatnagar has accessed for us. He in fact is now joining us on the broadcast. Ananya, let's first talk to you about the allegations against Vijay Nair. Some serious allegations that he was evasive, not cooperative. There were some allegations of him deleting some data on phones. But what is this allegation as far as a 6% commission is concerned?
Definitely a very, very crucial day coming in at the liquor gate. First arrests have been made both by the Central Bureau of Investigation and the Enforcement Directorate. When we talk of Vijay Nair, who is in fact the Aam Aadmi Party social media in charge, he was handling both the Punjab elections and the Gujarat elections. But what is very, very important and here to mention is that the CBI's FIR into this particular case alleges that he was actually responsible and was in close contact with regards to this liquor policy, and in fact he had met a lot of distributors, the L1 distributors, the wholesale distributors, not only in Delhi but in Hyderabad and Mumbai in various hotels, and had convinced them, because remember that the new excise policy had a 12% commission for the licensees who were getting a L1 license with the wholesaler dealer's license, and out of this 12% commission he was convincing these distributors to give a 6% cut to basically the other accused person, the major people involved into this particular case, and this is the major charge against him. Apart from that, what the Central Bureau of Investigation is alleging, that he actually deleted data from a lot of his phones. Basically 5 of his phones have been seized, 2 by the Central Bureau of Investigation and 3 by in fact the Enforcement Directorate. So the phones that have been seized by the Central Bureau of Investigation, is alleged that these phones were actually formatted by Vijay Nair, though his counsels allege that it was because he had gifted those phones to somebody else, but then the agency alleges that he has deleted crucial data. In fact, WhatsApp chats of in fact this particular person Vijay Nair with some other accused persons and others have also been produced before the court today. However, it was not read in the open court, so we don't know the exact details of it. But then another update that's coming forth to us is that Sameer Mahindra, who is the another accused arrested by the Enforcement Directorate, has now been sent to ED custody till October 6th, which effectively comes down to in fact 9 days of custody. It is alleged.
So agencies have gotten custody of both these individuals. You've got Vijay Nair, where the CBI has gotten a custody for about 5 days, and the ED getting custody of Sameer Mahindra. Ananya, thanks a lot for getting us all those details. So the question that we want to discuss over the next 20 minutes is this a valid probe, or is this just vendetta politics? Let me also now bring in our guest to take this discussion forward. We have the MLA from Aam Aadmi Party, Atishi. We have spokesperson of the Delhi BJP, Harish Khurana. We have spokesperson of the Congress Party, Dr. Onika Mehrotra. We also have political analyst Varun Singh. Good to have all of you on the broadcast with us. Atishi, I'd like to begin the discussion with you. As I pointed out, both these individuals who've been arrested, various agencies have now gotten custody, one with the CBI and one with the Enforcement Directorate. Is the Aam Aadmi Party still going to hold on to the narrative that both these individuals are Kattar Imandar?
See, first of all, I don't even actually know who Sameer Mahindra is, so I cannot comment on who Sameer Mahindra is, what he does or what he doesn't do. I think that is for the investigating agencies to find out. As far as Vijay Nair is concerned, Vijay Nair is the communication in charge of Aam Aadmi Party. He has been working with the Aam Aadmi Party for many years. He has handled communication and social media in Delhi elections and Punjab elections, has been doing so even for the Gujarat elections. And the fact that he has been arrested in this so-called excise policy scope is quite bizarre. I mean, after all, what does a social media in charge or what does a communications in charge have anything to do with the excise policy? Number one. Number two, Vijay Nair has been questioned by the CBI for 5 days continuously, from 9 in the morning to 9 at night, for 12 hours every day. The only thing that they have been asking him again and again and again is to name Manish Sisodia. And they kept on threatening him and telling him, कि तुम Manish Sisodia का नाम ले लो, वरना हम तुम्हें गिरफ्तार कर लेंगे. This went on for 5 days. And when finally he did not name Manish Sisodia, yesterday night he was arrested. And so it is very clear that central agencies under the control of the BJP are quite desperate now. They're desperate because they've tried everything that they could. They raided Manish Sisodia's house, they found nothing. They went to his ancestral village hoping they'd find some property, they found nothing. They raided Manish Sisodia's locker, they found nothing. Now what do they want to do? They want to pick up random people, torture them, intimidate them, and kisi tarike se make them say कि भाई.
So are you calling Vijay Nair a random person? Because I thought he was a close aide of Manish Sisodia.
Yes, but what does Vijay Nair, who is a social media in charge, who is a communication in charge, have anything to do with government policy?
You know, but Atishi, even earlier, you know, this is a topic that actually is being debated for a few weeks and months now. Even earlier, the Aam Aadmi Party was saying, there is no evidence as far as Manish Sisodia is concerned. He was actually named as far as that FIR is concerned out of those 15 people. And even the order copy that I just put out when I started the show has some serious allegations even against Vijay Nair and Sameer Mahindru. The allegation against Vijay Nair is that he actually took a 6% commission as far as these liquor barons was concerned. The other allegation also is, which is even more concerning for the agencies. 1 second, Adish, I'll give you the fair opportunity to respond. The other allegation, which is even more worrying as far as the agencies are concerned, that he was evasive and non-cooperative. What they're also now looking into is data of mobile phones, which they feel Vijay Nair deleted deliberately. There's nothing to hide. Why would you want to format your phone?
In fact, it was Vijay Nair who himself handed over all these phones, even though some of them were out of the country, as the order that you say. He had actually gifted the phones to someone, he got them couriered back to the country and himself handed over these phone instruments. Number one. Number two, definitely as far as the CBI is concerned, he was not cooperating. Why? Because the CBI wants him to name Manish Sisodia, which for 12 hours daily and in intimidating interrogation, he has refused to do. Number three, these so-called allegations that the CBI and the Bharatiya Janata Party have been making. Please, Ridhima, let us remember that these allegations have ranged all the way from saying that there is a 1.5 lakh crore scam to the CBI FIR, which says, oh, maybe 1 crore has gone here and there. This CBI FIR, which relies entirely on sources, has not been able to present even a single piece of evidence so far. But as we have said, we welcome any investigation. But it is very clear that this witch hunt is going to go on till the Gujarat election. Today they have arrested Vijay Nair. Tomorrow they may arrest any other volunteer of Aam Aadmi Party.
Harish Khurana, come in. The Aam Aadmi Party is saying we expected this. And this is something, to be fair to Atishi, even Arvind Kejriwal has said in the past that we anticipate these arrests. He's been saying that I'm actually working with a timeline where I know that even Manish Sisodia will be picked up. All of this is just to destabilize the kind of work the Aam Aadmi Party is doing, not just in the national capital, but in other parts of the country where they're actually making inroads, with examples of Punjab.
Ridhima, a phrase in Hindi called a chor ki dali mein tinka. And I think my fellow friend Atishi is doing the same thing. Why are you so much worried about the arrest of Vijay Nair? Why are you making a human cry? Let the law do their own course. The same script was been written and repeatedly said in the media when Satyendra Jain was being arrested. Himachal elections are coming in. BJP got afraid. So and so. This script was same when Satyendra Jain was arrested. What has happened? Since last 4 months, on the order of court, honorable court, not by ED or not by CBI, he's in jail since last 4 months and not getting a bail. Why?
You are the ones who at the end of the day judge.
I have not interfered. इतना क्यों? Why are you so? इतना क्यों बुखला रहे हो? 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 Let me. Is it my chance now? I'm not. Ridhima, what is this? Ridhima, what is this?
Okay. Okay.
She's not letting me speak.
Here there is no evidence.
Ridhima,
okay, Atishi, let Harish please make his point.
About to give a judgment.
She is not letting me speak. Shows their anger. Shows their frustration.
Okay.
Let us speak.
Okay. See, nobody will understand with what is being said. The viewers definitely will not understand. Harish, make your point.
Exactly. Ridhima, the same script was happening in the Himachal election. When the Himachal election vendetta politics is going on. So, over here, we should understand who the Vijay Nair is. Vijay Nair, according to the proofs which are coming out, and also in media, and we have also the proof with us also, and we have seen in the sting operation also, Vijay Nair is the key middleman who have introduced this liquor mafias to Manish Sisodia and Arvind Kejriwal. And in the clear list, we have seen that thing of accused number 9, I think Amit, who has clearly said 100 crore rupees was given by Sameer Mahindru to Vijay Nair. 60 crore rupees has been given by Mrs. Chadda to Vijay Nair. Vijay Nair was a key man. And since last 1.5, 2 months, he was absconding in somewhere in outside the country. God knows where he was been. And when he was arrested, his phone was being formatted. Why? Why? Because you want to hide something. And why? I like to ask Atishi, क्यों घबरा रहे हो भाई? If you have not done nothing wrong, let the law take own course. The same script which was being given recently, 2 of the MLAs were being convicted by the court. If you remember, what has happened to them? The same script, vendetta politics. Don't hide it behind the vendetta politics. You should face the court. You should face the law. If you have done nothing wrong, you will come out clean.
If there is nothing to hide, why don't you just cooperate with the investigation? And this is important, right? Because Atishi, when we had seen the summons that were given to various Congress leaders, this is exactly what the Aam Aadmi Party spokespersons had said to the Congress people, that if you have nothing to hide, why don't you just cooperate with the investigation? Dr. Ronika, let me bring you in the conversation as well. The Aam Aadmi Party is saying this is a witch hunt, this is all politically motivated with an eye on elections. Do you buy that argument?
Well, they should not be a worried lot, because they've always claimed to be Kattar Imandar, and let law take its own course, ma'am. Unfortunately, all I have to add here is the aspirational desire of Mr. Kejriwal, has lured him to indulge in the fraud practices in the Aabkari Niti.
I really apologize for interrupting. We're getting a big piece of breaking developments now coming in. There is a new CDS that has now been appointed, Lieutenant General Anil Chauhan, to be appointed as the Chief of Defence Staff. This after that unfortunate demise of General Bipin Rawat. So India has now gotten a new CDS. We are now understanding that the new Chief of Defence Staff will be retired Lieutenant General Anil Chauhan. As I pointed out, after that very unfortunate demise of General Bipin Rawat, who in fact was India's first CDS. India will now get a new CDS, a Chief of Defence Staff, in the form of retired Lieutenant General Anil Chauhan. Remember, there was a lot of back and forth, a lot of names were in the running. Many had also said that possibly, the army chief could also be considered as far as the CDS is concerned. But now we have a clarity as far as who the new CDS is. We have Lieutenant General Anil Chauhan, who will now be appointed as the Chief of Defence Staff. My colleague Tejinder is getting us all those details. Tejinder, after that unfortunate demise of General Bipin Rawat in that air crash that we all had reported extensively on, there was a void that was created. This was a position that we'd seen for the first time. He was India's first CDS. A lot of names were in the running, a lot of speculation on the Chief of Army Staff as well. But talk to us about the credentials of retired Lieutenant General Anil Chauhan, who will be now the new CDS.
Yes, you see, after the unfortunate demise of CDS, the first CDS, General Bipin Rawat, in that air crash, now the government of India has decided to appoint Lieutenant General Anil Chauhan, who retired from the army, as the next CDS. So he will be taking over as the next CDS of the Indian Armed Forces. Lieutenant General Anil Chauhan's career spans to almost 40 years. He has served in the army. Lieutenant General Anil Chauhan had held several command staff and instrumental appointments and had extensive experience in counter-insurgency operations in Jammu and Kashmir and North-East India. He is born on 18th of May 1961, and during this he was commissioned in the 11 Gorkha Rifles of the Indian Army in 1981. He was an alumnus. He's an alumnus of the National Defence Academy, Khadagwasla. Then he did his course from the Indian Military Academy, Dehradun. In the rank of Major General, he was the officer, had commanded the Infantry Division in critical Baramulla sector, which is the 19th Infantry Division, which comes under the Northern Command. He commanded a corps at the Northeast and went to become the General Officer Commanding in Chief of the Eastern Command from September 2019 and held the charge till his retirement on May 2021. So he had an extensive career of 40 long years. In all these command appointments, the officer also had important staff appointments, including the charge of Director General of Military Operations. Yes, Rizma.
Yes, correct. Tejinder, I'll just request you to stay on with us, and now we're getting some other details of the profile of Lieutenant General Anil Chauhan as well. He's been awarded the PVSM or the Param Vishesh Seva Medal, the Uttam Seva Medal, the Atish Seva Medal, the Sena Medal and the VSM as well in his long illustrious career. My colleague Akash also now joining us with more details. Akash, any other details that you're picking up? As I was discussing with Tejinder, also post that unfortunate demise of General Bipin Rawat, there was a void that was created. What has gone in favor of Lieutenant General Anil Chauhan that he is now going to be the next CDS for the country?
So you see, Ridhima, in fact, my colleague Tejinder was pointing out he has an extensive career of 40 years and, talking about several commands. So, talking about counterinsurgency operations and all other things that happen in Jammu and Kashmir and Northeast India. So this was the profile, and that was the main reason why he was chosen. Extensive career of 40 years and also the kind of experience that he has was the main reason why he has been appointed. And, this post, as you rightly mentioned, was vacant after General Bipin Rawat. And now we have got the new CDS, Anil Chauhan. And, he will also function as Secretary to Government of India. And, talking about his experience, I should mention this, that, he was commissioned into 11 Gorkha Rifles initially.
Correct.
And is basically from, Military Academy, Dehradun. So the experience matters the most, and that's the reason why he was chosen. In fact, our sources in the Defense Ministry are telling us that, he has a vast experience while talking about the terrorism and all the, counterinsurgency operations. And that was the reason why he was the very first choice for the government. And, this post was recently created, and, General Bipin Rawat was the first one to serve as CDS. But this post was vacant from last so many months, and now we have got the new CDS.
And it's been a period of about 8 to 9 months that we had that void, actually. I'll just request my colleagues Tejinder and Akash to stay on with us. We also have retired Major General KK Sinha. We also have retired Lieutenant General BS Jaiswal. Good to have both of you on the broadcast with us. Major General Sinha, let me come to you first. How do you see this development?
I think it is a good move. It has come late, but after 9 months or so, after the demise of Bipin Rawat. But, as far Lieutenant General Anil Chauhan is concerned, he is a very highly decorated officer who has, who has served as a Secretary to Government of India in Department of Military Affairs from the date of when it was actually created. So he has got experience. He has worked under Bipin Rawat. He knows what all things are happening. And he is from 11 GR, Gorkha Rifle. So he is an infantryman who has seen the combat, who has, a lot of experience. So I think it's a very good choice the government, has announced now. And it was a long awaited. We were looking forward. There was some talk that, probably he will, succeed because he has got, first-hand experience. And we have seen that he has got a very, colorful and a very highly rich and experience basically in the combat. He has taken part in many operations. He has been in insurgency. He has been on the appointments. He has been in all front. I think he's the best suited officer as on today. He's retired. And one more thing which has happened, he is a retired. After his retirement, he has joined.
Correct.
So it has a very deep selection. The government has gone into it. And a lot of barriers, the government has broken, that.
Correct. I agree with the point that General Sinha is making, and that's actually the back and forth that was going on, other than the names that were in the running as well, Lieutenant General Jaiswal, that whether we'll actually see a serving officer or will we see a retired officer being brought in. There was a lot of speculation on the Army Chief, General Naravne, also before he took over. How do you see this appointment?
Needed appointment and much awaited for that matter. And there has been a precedence in other countries also that they have had retired generals as the Chief of Defence Staff. So I think what they took into account was the man's experience and his capability and prowess to hold the chair. So they've done a very deep selection. And the mere fact that they have taken a decision, a lot must have been analyzed, and it's a good move. CDS is required, and they've ultimately taken a decision, much awaited decision.
General Sinha, how do you see his appointment? Because the CDS is a very crucial position, as General Jaiswal was also pointing out. You need to have the synergy of all the tri-forces working together under this one head. How do you see this appointment only strengthening the synergy of the tri-forces working together?
See, as far the, Lieutenant Chauhan is concerned, he has been there, as I brought it out earlier. From day one, when, the office of CDS, and which is a part of MOD, has come, he has been there. So he understands exactly what is the nitty-gritty of that, because that was the beginning. There were a lot of things which are the gray area and which has been settled down. And, he will able to handle, because he has seen how the integration and the true synergies can be done under the three, services. Because the integrated way of operation is and theaterization is the requirement of the day. As on today, the India faces the challenge. Basically, it has had an enlarged role in Indo-Pacific. So it is not just going to be a frontier requirement. Basically, Indian forces were looking after only a frontier, whether the Western Front or the Northern Front. Now there is a requirement in geopolitics and geomilitarily and geostrategically that you look into a broader area, and we have got a broader role to play. I think he has got experience. He has been, Northern Army commander. He has been, a number of appointments, which is a very challenging for any officer to take on such responsibility. I think it is very, very good selections. And there was a lot of speculation, lots of names were, been tossed. So it has been settled down, and I wish him all the best. And he has got a very tough task to do it, especially now. And I think he is all set to do that.
General Jaiswal, before I wrap this conversation, when you're taking on from such a rich legacy as far as General Bipin Rawat was concerned, who was also the brain behind the surgical strike against Pakistan, when he was actually the Vice Chief of Army Staff, I believe this was in 2016. What are going to be the challenges, or what is going to be the most crucial priority for India as of now when we get this new CDS?
One of the responsibilities of the CDS is to coordinate the procurement part. I think our procurement has really beefed up, and he will play a crucial role in coordinating the procurement part of it. Second, the theaterization part. This has gone a bit into a limbo. He will be able to now once again give pace to the theaterization. So whatever void was created, was lack of the CDS out there to give directions, I think that will catch up, and it's a very good step, very good step.
Okay. Unfortunately, sir, I'll have to leave that conversation there. Appreciate both of you joining us here on CNN News 18. So India is getting a new CDS. With that, it's a wrap from my side. Plain Speak is up next.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. Within a week of the nationwide raids against Popular Front of India, the radical Islamic body, and 8 of its fronts have been banned today by the Home Ministry for a period of 5 years. This ban will now go to a tribunal, and if upheld, it can be extended. This has been a long-standing matter of question and debate. When will the PFI get banned? It was not a matter of if, actually, for most, but a matter of when. For very long, their role in murders and violent agitations, communal unrest were coming to light. And almost all opposition parties were goading the BJP, asking, when are you going to ban the PFI? Because the BJP was raising the PFI question. Today, after the ban, there are 2 kinds of response. One, where BJP's political opponents ask, why so late? What were you doing for so long? Second, what about others? They draw a parallel of the PFI with RSS or RSS-linked Hindu organizations. Is that comparison fair, or is it a simple ploy to draw a parallel where none exists? If the likes of Congress, the left, the likes of Samajwadi Party believe that PFI and RSS are 2 sides of the same coin, how come they were never able to take any action against either of them when they were in power, at the center or at state levels? Certainly not against the RSS since 1992. This is the question and equation today. Is it purely political then? The larger question we also ask, has the ban on PFI brought out the terror apologists into the open, into the light, as they say? We will take those questions to our guests in just a bit. But first up, take a look at the various activities and incidents that have formed the backbone of the ban against the PFI. First, here are as many as 10 murders that have taken place in which PFI and its workers have been implicated. Some have been convicted. These are just some of those murders from Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Kerala, of course, that have come to light since 2016. Of course, our viewers would remember that it was way back, over a decade back, when Professor T.J. Joseph's hand was chopped off by PFI workers, the first such case in which they were even convicted in. Then there is the alleged terror link. Agencies say PFI activists have joined the ISIS in Iraq and Syria over the last few years. And then PFI links to banned terror outfit based in Bangladesh, Jamaatul Mujahideen, have also come to light, and these two have also formed the basis of the ban against this organization. And then there are charges of allegations of money laundering and illegal funds. It is alleged by the agencies that PFI raised funds through banking channels, hawala and donations. These funds were raised both in India and even from overseas. PFI then had a very sophisticated network of layering these funds to project them as legitimate. And then these funds were being used to carry out unlawful and terror activities in India. Agencies have said, by the way, the sources of deposits on behalf of PFI with respect to its several bank accounts were not supported by the financial profiles of the account holders, and the activity of PFI were not being carried out as per their declared objectives. Along with PFI, 8 of its fronts have also been banned. There's the Campus Front of India, the Student Wing, recently in the news during the hijab agitation in Karnataka, where direct links were found to them. National Women's Front, the women's wing of the PFI. There's a Junior Front, which is a kids wing of PFI. The kid in Kerala recently who was caught on camera making highly objectionable violent slogans in a PFI rally was allegedly a member of this kids front. All India Imams Council, supposedly a congregation of Islamic scholars and teachers. Rehab India Foundation, which claims to be a non-profit outfit working for the poor and needy. Rehab Foundation Kerala, which is the Kerala wing of the Rehab Foundation. There is the National Confederation of Human Rights Organization, which claims to work to protect rights of the exploited and marginalized. Empower India Foundation. It claims to provide intellectual and motivational support to weaker sections. Now, it is possible that some of these organizations were indeed doing some work on the ground. But if that was being used as a front for illegal acts, then you gotta go. Now, a lot of politicians are raising the question, why ban the PFI? What is the proof? The NI obviously has done its homework before the raids, and the MHA will not ban an organization without ample proof. As I said, many of them were asking the central agencies, why are you not banning them? Today they ask why. Now, this is what has been recovered from various PFI offices. IED making document recovered from the UP PFI leader. Marine radio have been recovered from the SDPI chief in Tamil Nadu. What were they doing with these? Swords, weapons at Maharashtra, a PFI president's home, and cash seized from a Bengaluru PFI leader. None of this is frankly screaming innocent to anyone. So the big question we ask today, given the political reactions that have come in the aftermath of the PFI ban, has it exposed terror apologists in India? Listen into how the BJP leadership welcomed the ban today, how the opposition has reacted, and why the RSS was dragged in. What did they have to say on that?
A very, very welcoming move. I'd like to express our gratitude to Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah for this bold action. PFI and CFI create the fertile ground so that the ABT or Al-Qaeda Indian subcontinent can recruit youth. But apart from that, they also instigate people against the country, against the state.
स्वागत योग्य कदम है। केंद्रीय गृह मंत्रालय ने बहुत अच्छा निर्णय लिया है और पूरे प्रदेश और देश में बहुत ही खुशी की लहर है। जिस ढंग से गैर सामाजिक, गैर कानूनी गतिविधियों में संलिप्तता पाई जा रही थी, PFI पर रोक लगाना बहुत आवश्यक था। इन लोगों ने प्रदेश और देश के अमन चैन को डिस्टर्ब करने का कुत्सित प्रयास किया था, गैर कानूनी गतिविधियों में संलिप्त थे और इनके नेटवर्क को पूरी तरह से ध्वस्त कर देना ये हम लोगों का प्रथम कर्तव्य है।
It was a long time demand by the people of this country, by all political parties, including opposition like CPI, CPM and Congress. PFI is a avatar of SIMI, KFD and PFI. They were doing all anti-national activities, and time had come to ban this organization.
PFI संगठन जो है, ये जो पॉपुलेशन फ्रंट ऑफ इंडिया, ये जो पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद के नारे लगाते हैं, उनको इस देश में ऐसे नारे लगाने का कोई अधिकार नहीं है। यह गृह विभाग पूरी तरह उनका बंदोबस्त करेगी।
Really have not worked in the past. The same people can work with a different name in a different organization. We've seen that happen. Yeah, the banning, as I told you earlier, RSS was banned thrice. Has it stopped them? That's why I'm saying that killings and retaliatory killings, that must end.
ಉಂಟು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? ಅದನ್ನ ಅವ್ರ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನಮ್ದೇನು ವಿರೋಧ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಂಬರ್ 1. ನಂಬರ್ 2, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ RSSನವರು ಇವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನ ಶಾಂತಿಯನ್ನ ಹಾಳು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೂ ಕ್ರಮ.
लेकिन एक चीज समझ नहीं आई कि 5 साल के लिए क्यों है ये सूट? इनको 5 साल करता है, उसके बाद इनको सूट करेगा। पहली ये चीज है। दूसरी चीज ये है कि बैन करते वक्त और चीज़ों की तरफ भी देखना चाहिए। बहुत सी एक्टिविटीज़ RSS की एंटी नेशनल एक्टिविटीज़ हैं।
अब ये तो गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसी है। बहरहाल हम तो इसको पसंद नहीं करते। उन्होंने जो बैन लगाया है, और भी पार्टियां हैं, वो भी सब सियासी पार्टी है, ये भी एक सियासी पार्टी थी, लेकिन ये मुस्लिम कौम को रिप्रेजेंट करती है। उन्होंने उन पर बैन लगा दिया। ये मुनासिब नहीं था, बैन नहीं लगाना चाहिए था, या तो फिर और पार्टियों पर बैन लगाओ।
कांग्रेस उस समय की पंत प्रधान श्रीमती इंदिरा गांधी ने लोकतंत्र और संविधान को कुचलते हुए आपातकाल लगाते हुए संघ पर प्रतिबंध लगाया। अल्टीमेटली संघ पर से प्रतिबंध हटाना भी पड़ा। देश में संघ लोकतंत्र का रक्षक बनकर उभरा। जब जब संघ पर किसी भी दल ने उंगलियां उठाई तो वह सूर्य पर थूकने समान सिद्ध हुआ। और कांग्रेस का ये राग वैसा ही है जैसे 1947 में कांग्रेस देश के विभाजन की कसूरवार बनी आज़ादी के समय में, और RSS को गाली देने से वह इस अपराध से कभी भी मुक्त नहीं हो सकते।
First up, I want to go across to Abdul Khalik, who's the Congress MP from Barpeta in Assam. He's one of those who has, in a way, raised a doubt over the government action. अब्दुल जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हमसे बात करने के लिए। पहले तो मैं आपसे पूछना चाहती हूँ, आपने बोला कि PFI पे जो बैन लगा है वो तो ठीक है, लेकिन RSS पे भी बैन होना चाहिए। क्या PFI और RSS का कोई कंपैरिजन हो सकता है?
मैंने ये नहीं बोला RSS बैन होना चाहिए। मैं बोला कोई दफा पहले RSS भी बैन हुआ था। सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल ने RSS को बैन किया था। ये इमरजेंसी का टाइम में बैन हुआ था। ये आपको नरसिम्हा राव गवर्नमेंट का टाइम में बैन हुआ था। और RSS का तो काफी एक्टिविटीज डाउटफुल है। इसमें तो कोई RSS तो नफरत फैलाते हैं काफी टाइम, और नफरत से ही आतंक होते हैं। लेकिन मैंने ये मांग नहीं किया उसको बैन होना चाहिए। मैंने ये बोला था RSS भी कोई दफा बैन हुआ था।
तो एक तरह से आप वही तो कर रहे हैं ना, PFI और RSS को इक्वेट कर रहे हैं। तो दोनों में कैसे कंपैरिजन हो सकता है, ये मैं आपसे पूछ रही हूँ।
मैं कभी कंपेयर नहीं किया, लेकिन PFI कितना राष्ट्रद्रोही काम कर रहा है ये सरकार को पता चलेगा। आई एम नॉट इन गवर्नमेंट, मैं मंत्री नहीं हूं, मेरे पास कोई सबूत नहीं है कितना वो राष्ट्रद्रोही काम कर रहा है या नहीं कर रहा है। लेकिन मैं ये बात भी बोला है कि मुसलमान समाज को आतंक के पास जाए, ऐसा एक साजिश चल रहा है। ये साजिश ये मुसलमान समाज में राजा सिंह जी से पूरा सहमत हूँ। भारतीय मुसलमान हमेशा ये आतंकी के साथ नहीं है, ये मेन स्ट्रीम के साथ है, और ऐसा कुछ कदम नहीं उठाना चाहिए ताकि ये आतंक के पास जाए। नहीं तो ये कैसे, अब मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा, आप ये बात बोल कैसे रहे हैं? PFI को बैन करने से क्यों आतंक के पास जाएंगे मुसलमान लोग? ये तो बहुत गलत बात बोल रहे हैं आप। सुनिए, मैंने कभी नहीं बोला PFI को नहीं बैन करना चाहिए, लेकिन ऐसा माहौल मत क्रिएट करो जो माहौल से जा सके। सरकार को मैं होशियार होने के लिए बोला, मैं ये नहीं कहा PFI बैन होने से मुसलमान आतंकी समाज पास जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं बोला, लेकिन सरकार को होशियार होना चाहिए, ये मैं बोला।
नहीं, आप घुमा घुमा के बात कर रहे हैं, मैं आपसे सीधा समझना चाह रही हूं। आप आरएसएस की बात कर रहे हैं, आप माहौल की बात कर रहे हैं, ऐसा क्या हुआ है जो आप माहौल की बात कर रहे हैं देश में?
आरएसएस का नाम इसलिए बोल रहा हूं क्योंकि आरएसएस नफरत फैलाते हैं, और नफरत जब ज्यादा होते हैं तब आतंक का माहौल होते हैं। इसलिए समाज में जो नफरत फैल रहा है, ये नफरत बंद होना चाहिए। नफरत फैलाना, जब तक नफरत रहेगा, नफरत का काउंटर इफेक्ट भी होते हैं, ये नहीं होना चाहिए।
नहीं, ये जो आप कॉजालिटी कर रहे हैं, मेरे ख्याल से तो वो सही नहीं है। बट मैं आपसे पूछना चाहती हूँ, आपने बोला सरकार को ऐसा कोई कदम नहीं उठाना चाहिए जिससे आतंकवाद फैले। आपका मतलब क्या है? आप खुल के बोलिए ना।
मेरा जो बोलना तो बोल दिया, आप जो चाहते हैं वो तो मेरे मुंह से नहीं निकलेगा ना।
मैं तो बस क्लैरिटी चाह रही हूँ।
तो बोल दिया मैंने।
But is it also not fair, sir, that there has been a political and social support to bodies like PFI? आप जो बोल रहे हैं, माहौल की बात कर रहे हैं, मुसलमान खतरे का खतरे में टाइप नैरेटिव है, उससे ही ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस बनती है ना। तो इन ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को पॉलिटिकल और सोशल सपोर्ट भी मिल रहा है।
पीएफआई कितना टेरर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है मुझे नहीं पता। मुझे नहीं पता पीएफआई कितना टेरर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, कितना टेरर वो फैलाया, कितना आतंकवाद किया। मेरे पास कोई इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं है, मैं कैसे बताऊंगा? मेरे पास कोई इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं है। सरकार, मैं एमपी हूं, सरकार अगर पार्लियामेंट में सारे सबूत रखेगा तब मुझे पता चलेगा। पार्लियामेंट के सेशन नवंबर में होने वाला है, सरकार अगर सारे सबूत रखेगा तब हमको पता चलेगा।
मैं आपको इन्फॉर्मेशन के लिए बता देती हूँ, इन्वेस्टिगेशन के हिसाब से अभी पिछले 5 सालों में ऐसे 10 मर्डर हो चुके हैं केरला, कर्नाटका, तमिलनाडु में, जिसमें पीएफआई का हाथ निकला है। आपको ये प्रूफ काफी नहीं लगता?
देखिए, एनआईए के वही तो बोला, पार्लियामेंट का सेशन जब डाटा पार्लियामेंट में रखेगा तभी हमको पता चलेगा, नहीं तो कैसे चलेगा? अभी तो सारे एजेंसी जो सरकार का है, अभी तो काफी टाइम सरकार का एजेंसी पॉलिटिकली भी इस्तेमाल होते हैं। आप ईडी का बात करो, सीबीआई का बात करो, जो सरकार का खिलाफ आवाज उठाते हैं उनका खिलाफ ये ईडी का इस्तेमाल होते हैं, सीबीआई का इस्तेमाल होते हैं। एनआईए अभी कितना काम किया, क्या सबूत आया, क्या नहीं आया, जब 17 चलेगा पार्लियामेंट का तभी पता चलेगा ना।
आप आसाम से आते हैं, मैं आपसे एक आखिरी सवाल आसाम के बारे में पूछती हूँ। आसाम में भी रोल आया है पीएफआई का जब अनरेस्ट हुआ था, तो आपको नहीं लगता कि पीएफआई टाइप की जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस है आसाम के लोगों के लिए, आसाम के मुसलमानों के लिए भी खतरनाक थी?
मैंने कभी ऐसा, देखिए आसाम का मुख्यमंत्री बोलते हैं, लेकिन मैंने पीएफआई को कोई टेरर एक्टिविटीज नहीं देखा। मैं कैसे बोलूंगा? आसाम के मुख्यमंत्री जो कहते हैं, आसाम को मुख्यमंत्री के बात मैं बिल्कुल विश्वास नहीं करता, क्योंकि आसाम के मुख्यमंत्री एक विशेष समुदाय के खिलाफ बोलते हैं। मैं खुद मुख्यमंत्री के खिलाफ एक केस लगाया, वो लोअर कोर्ट ने मुख्यमंत्री का खिलाफ केस दर्ज करने का, रजिस्टर करने का आदेश दिया था। बाद में हाई कोर्ट ने इसलिए तो बात अलग है। तो आसाम के मुख्यमंत्री खुद नफरत फैलाते हैं, आसाम के मुख्यमंत्री ध्रुवीकरण के राजनीति करता है, तो वो जो बोलते हैं उस पर मेरा कोई विश्वास नहीं है, क्योंकि जो नया मुसलमान ज्यादा अल्लाह अल्लाह करते हैं, आसाम के मुख्यमंत्री हिमंत बिस्वा शर्मा भी ऐसा है। वो नया बीजेपी बन गया, वो बीजेपी आला कमान को खुश करने के लिए, आरएसएस को खुश करने के लिए वो ज्यादा बीजेपी बन गया, ज्यादा आरएसएस बन गया। इसीलिए हिमंत बिस्वा शर्मा जो कहते हैं उस पर मेरा कोई भी भरोसा नहीं। इसलिए पीएफआई कितना टेरर एक्टिविटीज में है, मेरे पास कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं है।
आपके पास कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं है, ठीक है। चलिए, आपको लगता है कि आपको पता ही नहीं है कि पीएफआई का नाम क्यों लिया जा रहा है, क्यों इतने सालों से हम बैन की बात कर रहे हैं। All right, Abdul Khalik, I do appreciate you joining us. Let me take this to our guest joining us now. K.S. Radhakrishnan is BJP Kerala Vice President. In Kerala, the BJP has also made an accusation that the current ruling front also has members of agencies linked to the PFI. Swati Malik is from the Congress Party. RVS Mani is former Under Secretary, Internal Security. Rahul Ishwar, author and activist, Desh Ratan Nigam, political analyst, leans towards the RSS. Maulana Masoodul Hassan Kazmi is Islamic scholar on joining us. Let me go across to our BJP representative first up. K.S. Radhakrishnan, first of all, how do you respond to these allegations coming in from most of the opposition parties today that you've only acted on one side of hate, you've not acted on the other coin, the other side of the same coin?
I don't understand basically what are the reasons for their allegation that if PFI has been banned, immediately to balance that act, RSS also must be banned. This is the logic behind their argument. And they are not presenting any facts to substantiate their argument that RSS is a terror outfit. But I can present any number of instances related to the PFI as they have been practicing violence in every deed which they have done in public life. They have no hesitation to commit any number of murders and no hesitation to commit any amount of crime. And all those have been on the public sphere for the long time. And in the case of the LDF and UDF in Kerala, both the fronts have been practicing the politics of minority appeasement to secure maximum number of votes. That's why they are saying that, no, if this has been done, that also must have been done. But have they said anything that this is what the PFI have done here and we have to oppose it? See, what if they said that RSS, I heard that HUD had said that RSS had been banned.
Yes, it
The
didn't
first
stop the
banned
RSS.
political outfit in
He
India
has
is the
said so,
Communist
and
Party.
many others have said so. I was speaking to the Congress MP from Assam. He also saying, I am not equating the two. But remember that RSS was also banned.
Why should? For what purpose? Why should you demand that RSS should be banned? How can you make a comparison between RSS and PFI? Such a comparison is just impossible. And you are making an impossible comparison and arguing that if this has been banned, that the other also should have been banned.
No, the point that
This is
they're
not the
raising,
right way of presenting
Radhakrishnanji, the point that they're raising is that in the past, even RSS has been banned. So even the RSS has a dubious past.
Okay, ma'am. In the past, Communist Party had been banned. That was the first banned political outfit in 1948. When they adopted a resolution known as Calcutta Thesis by B.T. Ranadive, and they decided to wage war against the state. When they decided to wage war against the state, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru banned that organization. So if one organization has been banned, by that reason, subsequent bans must be there is the argument. Then my friend HUD has to recollect the past instances and has to admit that his organization must be banned first.
Okay.
So
Rahul
such an
Ishwar,
argument
you were raising your finger. You wanted to come in. You know, is this a false equivalence? Is this just a convenient political argument that because PFI has been banned, so RSS must also be banned? Or let's say a VHP or a Bajrang Dal should be banned? Does this comparison exist? Or is it just a political argument?
False equivalence, which is usually called monkey balancing.
Yeah,
Every
monkey
nation
balancing.
needs balance. Monkey balancing is different from genuine balance. This is false equivalence. Please remember, we have responsible organizations from Hindu and Muslim communities, but there are hardline extremist organizations which needs to be alienated. There are such kinds of crazy crackpot fringe in all communities.
All right. Unfortunately, I've lost that link. But Swati Malik, let me come to you because the Congress also, along with a lot of the opposition parties today, Rahul Ishwar is back. Rahul Ishwar, finish your point.
Just one line. We also have people like Satwi Prachi, against whom I have filed a complaint for her anti-Muslim remarks. We have crazy crackpots like Yeti Narasimhan too. But the larger point is many people are artificially trying to balance because of their pseudo-secularism by comparing Popular Front and RSS.
Basically, this is the same saffron terror to equate with Islamic terror nonsense going on, isn't it?
That's false equivalence, that's monkey balancing. And please remember one more thing. Kerala is home to some great Muslim organizations like Indian Union Muslim League, like MES, like Jamaat-e-Islami, like the all respected Samasta. But Popular Front is a different hardline extremist organization who needs to be alienated. They even
in fact, most of the Muslim bodies are also welcoming it. The ban on them.
And absolutely yes. And I would like to quote the former Muslim Chief Minister of Kerala, who went on record to say that if Holy Mecca attacked India, me and my children and my family will stand for India and fight against them. See, that is the level of great patriotic, pluralistic culture we had. But these kind of hardline extremist organizations like Popular Front has been bringing shame to our Muslim brothers and sisters, bringing shame to Kerala, bringing shame to India, and they should be alienated.
Alienated. I'll come to that in just a bit. I'll come to the social political angle to this. But Swati Malik, I wanted to come to you because many of your leaders are on record today, including former Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, to equate the PFI and the RSS. Now, I want to understand from you, you've been in the center for UPA 10 years, from 2004 to 2014, right? You banned the SIMI in 2002, and then the PFI was born. And PFI was there. Many of their alleged murders had come to light well before your government was voted out. Why did you never act against either the PFI or the RSS at the center or the state? And if you didn't, what right do you have to question those who are taking action against the PFI today?
Shivani, let me first clarify that the Congress party welcomes this step of the government of banning PFI, even though we call it belated because they came to power in 2014. And one of their main agendas and was to ban PFI. Anyways, it took them 8 years, but all that ends well as well, right? So we welcome this step. And as far as equating RSS and PFI is concerned, right? There, what we are stating now is that, see, PFI was not banned overnight, right? It took them 8 years to investigate, to have those raids, for those NI to come in, and various other enforcement agencies to come in, and then of course when they found something substantial, they have banned it. Correct? Now, what is the harm in demanding the same sort of investigation or action against RSS? And when I say, we're not saying ban it overnight. Please investigate. When you find something,
on the basis
of
what?
Ban it.
On the basis of what? Please tell me.
On the basis, we have seen the activities carried out by Bajrang Dal, by RSS, and you cannot forget what Malegaon blast was. Who was that?
Malegaon blast was exactly, Malegaon blast, I'm shocked that Swati, you're mentioning it. Malegaon blast is the albatross around the Congress's neck. Never proved anything. The under trials were in jail for 10 years. What did you prove out of that?
Shivani, Pragya Thakur is still under investigation, correct?
Yeah, nothing has been
She's
proved.
Not been, Pragya Thakur is still under investigation. Right? So what I'm stating here is hold an investigation. Just don't shut your eye to RSS or VHP or Bajrang Dal.
But you're in power in so many states. Why don't you launch one? You are in power in Karnataka till recently. Why didn't you launch an investigation against RSS? Let me point out though, you are saying you're welcoming the PFI ban today. After coming to power in 2013, Siddaramaiah government approved the dropping of a total of 176 cases filed against 1,600 PFI activists.
And okay, Abhi, see what I'm trying to say, Shivani. Please try and understand what I'm trying to say. I am saying that today when we welcome, are you against the fact that we are welcoming a step by the central government?
But your leaders are speaking in multiple tongues. Swati, I ask you this question because your leaders are speaking in multiple tongues.
No, they are not. All they're saying is please investigate RSS too.
All right, okay, investigate RSS. Is that so that we can balance it? Let me remind.
If you don't find anything against RSS,
but you can't launch an investigation on suspicion alone. You have to first have something to launch an investigation. You cannot launch it to justify it to somebody. That's victimization.
At least investigate. They were banned thrice earlier. Why are you asking for more evidence against them?
But all of those times that ban didn't stick. The ban against SIMI stuck. The ban against RSS didn't. The ban against Bajrang Dal didn't.
Shift in last 8 years. Please answer that. Have you not seen a communal shift in last 8 years? Who are all these agents? Who's Bajrang Dal connected to?
Of course, it's connected to Hindu organizations. I'm not denying that. But madam, you have to produce some evidence to say that okay, there is some large conspiracy going on against the country. PFI, once again, Swati, PFI is accused of waging war against the country. Please understand. Don't equate the two. Yes, there are some communal organizations and each individual will face the law.
When Mahatma Gandhi was murdered, that time also it was banned. What was RSS accused of that?
Again, nothing proved out of that case. Your leader is facing a defamation on that.
Why is RSS shying away of being investigated?
But they have been investigated in the past. They've been banned in the past. Anyways, let me go across to RVS Money. Rahul, I'll come to you in just a bit. RVS Money, what do you have to say about this equivalence being drawn between RSS
equivalence is speculous. Let me put it very clear. 2006, there was an attempt to ban RSS, but UAPA banning is not a simple, it has to be within 6 months revalidated or confirmed by a judicial tribunal, by a sitting judge of the High Court. So now this PFI also nothing to be agitated. If the PFI, if the NIA has collected humongous amount of evidences, and that is the reason the 8 years have taken, because it cannot be just because one margin of error and all these secular people will start shouting, crying victim. So that is the reason humongous amount of evidences have been collected. 2006 also, they tried attempt to ban the RSS. It did not sustain. So it did not even go to the notification stage what to talk of the tribunal. That is the number one point of it. I have been personally involved in that, so nobody can challenge me on that. Having said that, now that Swati Malik is saying they have a state government, law and order is a state subject in Rajasthan, in Chhattisgarh, let them bring the evidence. I will go personally to DG NIA, say let this process this and collect the evidence.
Yeah, precisely. That's the most obvious question somebody will ask. You were in power in Karnataka recently. You've been in power in Kerala, for heaven's sake.
Cannot be treated or compared with a terror organization. The amount of funds that have come out, the amount of fund which has come from Qatar, Iran, Saudi Arabia and whatnot, and the amount of training, the amount of arms, the amount of human resource developed. It was like a proper university through which they will be recruited, then radicalized and asked to go through specialization like bomb making or terror attack or rape or jihad or what, this, that and all. This type of verticals were created for the humongous organization, all India presence. So these have all come out in the NIA charge sheet, NIA information. Now it will have to be confirmed by a sitting judge of High Court. Till that time, there is nothing to be agitated. On the question of comparing with RSS, I still say that I am not a member of RSS because of the extreme fanatism, but it is a nationalistic, ultra-nationalistic fanatic organization. It is certainly not a terrorist organization.
You can have your objections to the RSS, even to the Bajrang Dal and the VHP, but possibly not a comparison with the PFI.
The Chhattisgarh government let us do an investigation, get out the evidence, we will go to
fair enough. But can I also ask you? Can I also ask you?
Take her personally to NIA, DG NIA, and follow up with that.
No, can I also ask you, Mr. Mani, I was speaking to the Congress MP from Assam earlier. He said that because there is hate, and there is hate coming in clearly, what he meant was from bodies like the RSS or affiliations, that is why this crime or this terror emerges. I questioned him on that causality. Let me point out to our viewers, the SIMI, which was banned by the Congress, by the way, was formed in 1977. The BJP wasn't even formed formally then. The RSS was nowhere then. The BJP was nowhere then. So to suggest the SIMI was formed in 1977 because there was some atmosphere of hate, and because Muslims were under danger in India, and that was why it was a response to that, is the most bogus argument. And that is why that argument doesn't stand today either. Maulana Kazmi, I'm coming to you on that. This whole narrative that because there is some persecution, that's why terror happens. First of all, terror is not a response to anything, no matter what the injustice, etc. And that too, terror against your own country, your own countrymen, for heaven's sake. This causality cannot be formed. That because there is hatred today, that is why PFI comes up. Simi didn't come up because of that.
Shivani, one more correction, a short point. Swati Malik, I have to tell her that Sadhvi Pragya case is under trial, not under investigation. And the trial also, you know, and I know what are all happening. Now, one of the investigating officers of the ATS has been, warrant has been issued against them.
Nothing has come of those cases. Frankly, that entire bogey of Hindu terror, which was used to equalize Islamic terror, has fallen flat. Yes, Maulana Kazmi, my question to you. Mr. Mani, I'll come back to you. Maulana Kazmi, my question to you. Let's not pretend that organizations like PFI come up because of some sort of perceived persecution. That's not true.
No. Shivani ji,
whatever the Congress MP said, we are not here to speak on his behalf, and his view may be the political view. I am here to speak on my own behalf as a Islamic scholar, on the behalf of Muslims. From the very beginning, the day popular PFI people cove the hand of the professor, we have been demanding the ban of this organization. We have been demanding, and alone we were the first to demand the ban on this organization, because they did this on the name of Islam, and Islam will never ever allow such type of brutality on the name of Islam. Number one. And we also say, if any person, any people in my community, any person does anything as anti-constitutional, anti-national or illegal activity, again, first of all, punish him or her, punish them first. Saying that, I would also like to comment on other organization as well, on the organization of the other peoples. Look, I am not drawing any equivalent with the RSS and PFI, but I would like to put some fact here and let the nation decide. There is difference between the accusation and conviction.
Right.
There is difference. In Ajmer Bambilas, two RSS functionary, two RSS people, RSS Pracharak, have been convicted by court. By court means their terrorism has been established by the court. So, another thing, people who are based on the RSS ideology are recreating the organization, recreating the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi ji.
How?
People based on the ideology of organization.
How? Sorry, that's a big allegation.
Temples of Nathuram Godse.
काज़मी जी वो बहुत बड़ा इल्जाम लगा रहे हैं आप. कैसे? नहीं, एक सेकंड, महात्मा गांधी जी असैसिनेशन को कैसे रिक्रिएट किया जा रहा है?
शकुन पांडे, पूजा शकुन पांडे.
आपको पता नहीं है इसका मतलब? आपको जरा अपने वो कर लीजिए.
आप कह रहे हैं वो रिक्रिएट मतलब ड्रामा कर रहे हैं. अच्छा, अब मुझे समझ में आ गया. मुझे लगा आप बोल रहे हैं कि ऐसे और असैसिनेशन प्लान किए जा रहे हैं. वो तो नहीं है ना?
नहीं पूजा
आप नहीं सुना. आपको इसका मतलब जरा आप अपने अपडेट हो जाइए, अपनी मालूमात को अपडेट कीजिए.
नहीं सर, मुझे समझ में आ गया. आप बोल रहे हैं कि उन्होंने ड्रामेटाइज किया, आरएसएस ने
हिंदू महासभा,
ठीक है, उन्होंने ड्रामेटाइज किया, समझ में आ गया सर.
महात्मा गांधी की एसेसिनेशन को रिक्रिएट किया था.
ठीक है, ड्रामेटाइज किया, वही बोलिए. ठीक है, but उसका सर एक सेकंड, I still don't understand how is that put at the same pedestal as actually killing people and actually getting funds from overseas and planning terror attacks. यही तो बात मैं बोल रही हूँ ना
जी. शिवानी, I respect my Hindu brothers. I also respect there are many good people in RSS and RSS people. All great Hindu brothers' life are also valuable for us. But point is, when we are here to get rid of terrorism, to get rid of hatred, to get rid of communalism, we also should take action against other organizations also.
Okay, fair enough. Maulana Kazmi, fair enough. I just say that the difference is here the organization is an offshoot of a previously banned terror organization that has actually committed terror acts and was planning more terror attacks, and the entire organization's machinery is working for that. If a person from an organization is doing something, yes, there will be doubts raised on that organization too. I don't deny that. But I'll take that to Desh Ratan Nigam, who's also a lawyer and is close to the RSS. Mr. Ratan, please respond to this. There have been accusations against RSS workers too in the past.
Shivani, in fact, we have to know why this PFI has been banned. First, in order to understand the charges which are being made against RSS or other organizations. One, this organization, PFI, has been banned for breaking the country and waging the war against this country. Second, not believing in our constitution and not having faith or allegiance to our constitution. Third, running a parallel court system called Darul Qada, which is a Sharia court, and they do not believe in our judiciary and court system. Third, running a parallel administration in many places. Fourth, gruesome murders that has taken place of BJP, RSS leaders and other Hindu leaders. The fifth, the riots that were committed during hijab issue or CAA or NRC protest. Huge level of funding that had taken place. Terror financing, drug smuggling, arms acquisition, and training of dangerous arms to the people. And I can continue naming. Please tell me, are these allegations single allegations against RSS or other organizations? Have they waged a war against the country? It is one of the organization which is nationalist and keeps the nation as supreme, and is always there in the forefront for any calamity that takes place in the country, whether man-made or natural.
Maulana Kazmi mentioned the Ajmer case.
Yes, I'm telling you, those Ajmer cases, two RSS people, I don't know what has happened to them. They could never be arrested, and in their absence, they have been convicted because they could not come before court. We do not even know whether they are alive or dead. So it was in absence. It was in absentia. It was done. Secondly, Mahatma Gandhi's assassination. Now, Rathuram Godse was a member of Hindu Mahasabha. It was banned that time. And if you look at the CID report of that time, or FIR, or the charge sheet, or the judgment, RSS name is nowhere mentioned. And the moment they brought the ban against RSS, Sardar Patel was quite fast in uplifting it also. During emergency, RSS was banned because it was protesting against the emergency.
Yeah, the emergency case has to be kept separate. But then post the Babri incident, also the RSS was banned.
And let me also tell you, Malegaon and Samjhauta Express, there was a Pakistani terrorist which was allowed to flee the country.
Sir, I know. I can't go into all of that because those are very, very serious cases which has to be gone into the depth of.
One more second.
Yes.
One more second. So far as Sadhvi Pragya's case is concerned, please read the order of bail by Supreme Court. They have clearly stated in that she has been falsely implicated. The amount of atrocities that was committed on her.
Yes,
in
torture
fact,
in jail. Yes.
Torture and so much things. Just read that Supreme Court judgment on the bail. Please understand that.
Anand Margi's in Purulia armed robbery case allegedly involved.
They were Anand Margis were banned also. Anand Margis was a kind of an organization which believed in a different philosophy. Therefore, they were banned also at that point of time.
Sir,
please
their
remember
ideology
that.
is they are also RSS affiliated organization.
No. Anand Margis are not affiliated with RSS. Please don't spread lies. I am a part of RSS. Please, Kazmi Sahab, aapse ye ummeed nahi hai.
Okay.
Aapse ummeed nahi hai.
Radhakrishnan, I want to come back to you. You've raised a particular demand against the Kerala government also to expel one of the leaders you say is from the Rehab Foundation. What is your demand with the Kerala government?
No, the Kerala government, there is a tacit understanding between the state of Kerala, I mean run by the CPM and the SDPI. SDPI is the political outfit of the PFI. Before I come to that point, let me point out one aspect that has been raised by my Congress friend. My Congress friend has raised that just because these and these RSS should be banned. May I ask one question? Should the Congress friend will make a demand that in 1984, under the leadership of 2 or 3 Congress leaders, an unruly mob committed genocide of the Sikhs? Should the congressman will make a demand that Congress should be banned? I will never make such a demand. So this is the difference between the PFI and the RSS.
Okay, fair enough. You're saying individuals and an individual's act from an organization and the organization only having a certain agenda are two different things, right?
Let me finish my argument first, then you can interfere.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me finish my argument. So what I'm telling is that PFI committed anti-national, anti-constitutional, subhuman activities which are against humanity as a whole. Such an organization should be banned. But RSS has never done such activities.
Okay.
The maximum they said that it is an ultra-nationalist organization. I don't think that nationalism is a crime. Everyone has got the right to be a nationalist. And moreover, in Kerala, then coming to Kerala, the LDF has made tacit understanding with the SDPI in many local bodies. The same thing has been done by the UDF also. That's why some of the UDF leaders and the LDF leaders have made the statement that RSS also should be banned to make an equalization activity.
Okay.
This is absolutely illogical, nonsensical, and should not be presented in a public sphere.
Okay.
Because we have to be logical when you make an argument.
No, that's why we're
Both
discussing
LDF
it.
and
Let the
UDF
arguments flow from both sides and we can thrash it out. On the issue of the SDPI, RVS money, I want to come to you because while 8 fronts associated with the PFI have been banned, in fact, there was a statement released by the PFI Kerala president saying that the organization is disbanded and they have accepted the ban. I don't know how that will be interpreted and what their designs may be post the ban. I'll leave that aside. But what about the SDPI? It continues to be very much a political outfit of the PFI and is registered under the Election Commission.
See,
That is the question.
Yes.
That is the question again. The SDPI, the political front, is well known of the PFI. Now the question is whether it can be banned under the Unlawful Association or not under UAPA Act or declared a terror organization under UAPA or not. The question which needs to be agitated and argued upon, because as a political entity, it comes under the regulation of the Election Commission of India. Indeed, there is no doubt about it.
Okay.
But before the issue of whether it's a political entity or not, whether it has to, does it indulge in terror activities? Does it indulge in such organizations with activities which could deem to be a terror? Does it give any support to the terror activity? These are all questions which should be again brought into fore, and I am sure the government will take such other steps to ensure that these do not, if the SDPI is really a political friend, if it can be, adequate evidences can be abused on this, it should be banned and the Election Commission should be notified of that, because Election Commission has got a very limited purpose over regulating the political party
parties
under the
but the recommendation,
and not beyond that.
But sir, the recommendation will have to go from the Home Ministry, right?
Certain sections of the Indian Penal Code, if including 153, etc., 295, 153, and this, even this has to be notified if at all required before the Election Commission, and
but who will do that?
Election Commission will only ban it as
RVS
a political
money,
party, but as an organization it needs to be banned.
Okay, RVS money, what I want to understand from you is who will give that notification? The Home Ministry will have to do it to the Election Commission, right?
No, Home Ministry will have to ban it first and then notify the Election Commission.
Okay. Yes, Deshrattan Nigam, I'm running out of time. Please come in, then Rahul Ishwar has the last word. Yes, Deshrattan Nigam.
Evidences are there.
Shivani.
Let them collect the evidence, make a fair
Okay, fair enough. Given the swiftness with which the government has acted within 1 week against the PFI, possibly there could be some action against the SDPI also. Yes, Deshrattan Nigam.
See, SDPI, there are two aspects. One is the Election Commission, another is the UAPA. Right. Under the UAPA, one is very clear: if it is declared an unlawful association, for which I am sure the investigations are going on. If the evidence is collected, it can be declared an unlawful association or a terrorist organization under the UAPA, which is will be covered under UAPA.
Right.
And once the ban takes place, then there will be an automatic ban by the Election Commission.
Okay.
Because it will already be a banned organization under UAPA.
Rahul Ishwar, final comment to you. Do you think this PFI ban is going to be used to further the whole Muslim victimhood narrative, which will then further fuel more radicalization?
Shivani ji, this is all happening on a week when Pujaniya Sarsang Chalak Mohan Bhagavat ji reached out to our Muslim community. He went personally to a holy mosque, a madrasa, and reached out to our Muslim community and engaged with the senior Muslim intellectuals. Mahatma Gandhi, an ideal of Hindu-Muslim unity, is essential for India. India cannot survive without Hindu-Muslim unity and pluralism. You can call it secularism, harmony, pluralism, or any word of your choice. But Hindu-Muslim unity is absolutely necessary for India. And all the senior leaders of our nation, whether they belong to any political formation, are mindful of that. And, we are proud that our Muslim brothers have always been at the forefront of guarding India, starting from Paramveer Chakra, Abdul Hamid to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So please remember, these tiny fringe of hardline Islamist rabble-rousers are absolutely not representing our Muslim brothers or sisters, and they are not representative of the larger community.
Yeah, but the community has to make itself heard too. We can't assume that.
And Sarsak Jalak has been taking forward the idea of Hindu-Muslim unity in a very good way, and even then they are maligning them. Even then they are maligning RSS. When RSS Sarsak Jalak himself went to a mosque, and they are starting to build bridges. So these are the positive steps. We need to have that Hindu-Muslim unity, but the hardline extremists from every community, may it be Popular Front, may it be Yeti Narasimhanan, may it be Satvi Prachi, these guys should be alienated. There are hardliners in every community, and every hardliner should be opposed.
I have to leave it at that. Let's see how this goes on from here. It is still a task for the central government to ensure that no designs of the PFI succeed post the ban as well. And of course, there is the spectre of it morphing into something else. Thanks a lot to our guests for joining us. I slip into a very short break. Stay with us. On the other side, we'll get you the day's biggest story.
बिल्कुल ही मुखालिफत की, जिसके बिना पर काफी मुसलमानों की हमको नाराजगी भी सहनी पड़ी। हमें उसकी परवाह नहीं थी।
कादरी साहब, एक छोटा सा डाउट है, आप क्लैरिफाई कर दीजिए। इन जो 300 लोग जो अरेस्ट हुए हैं पिछले हफ्ते 10 दिन में, उनमें से ऐसा कोई भी है जो पीएफआई के साथ एसोसिएटेड नहीं था?
ना साहब, मैं एनआईए की कार्रवाई के ऊपर तो मैं कभी जो है ऐसा गलत बात कर भी नहीं सकता। एनआईए की ये जो कार्रवाई हुई है वो पूरे साक्ष्य जुटाते हुए, सबूत जुटाते हुए उन्होंने काम किया है। मैं फ्यूचर के लिए बात कर रहा हूं सर। फ्यूचर में ऐसा कोई काम ना हो जिससे कि मुस्लिम, इनोसेंट मुस्लिम परेशान।
ठीक है, तो आप कह रहे हैं कि जनरल माहौल ऐसा ना हो कि इनोसेंट मुस्लिम्स को ये लगे कि वो परसिक्यूट हो रहे हैं।
After 2 rounds of intensive raids and more than 300 arrests, it finally happened. The centre banned the Popular Front of India and its associates for 5 years under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Listing the reasons behind the ban, the Home Ministry's notification stated that PFI is involved in several criminal and terror cases and shows sheer disrespect towards the constitutional authority. With funds and ideological support from outside, it has become a major threat to the internal security of the country. And investigations in various cases have revealed that the PFI and its cadre have repeatedly engaged in violent and subversive acts.
निश्चित रूप से लंबे समय से जांच चल रही थी, कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा मिला है जो उनकी गतिविधियों को संदिग्ध बनाता है।
With PFI being declared an unlawful organization, their properties could be attached and activities of their members could be deemed illegal.
Where right now in the Benson town, where happens to be the PFI state head office here, are leaders across the state and from also outside the state. So they used to come and visit this organization.
A team of police officials have managed to reach over here. They are inspecting this entire site, just making sure that no untoward incident happens over here. And that is the reason why a team of police officials have just arrived.
The ban was welcomed by most state governments.
This is a very, very welcoming move. PFI and CFI create a fertile ground. Al-Qaeda Indian subcontinent can recruit youth.
जो minorities है उसमें घुसकर वहाँ पर अनरेस्ट निर्माण करना, वहाँ पर इंडोक्ट्रिनेशन करना, फंडिंग की भी अपनी व्यवस्था की है। छोटे छोटे अकाउंट निकालकर उसके माध्यम से किसी के ध्यान में ना आए, इस प्रकार से ये टेरर फंडिंग कर रहे थे।
But politics wasn't far behind, with many opposition leaders questioning the move.
Every Muslim youth will now be arrested with a PFI pamphlet under India's black law UAPA. How come PFI is banned but organized associated with convicts of Khaja Ajmeri bomb blast are not? Why has government not banned right-wing majoritarian organization?
Bans really have not worked in the past. The same people can work with a different name in a different organization. Earlier RSS was banned thrice. Has it stopped them?
For several years now, PFI has been one of the biggest threats to India. Their members chopped the hand of a college professor in Kerala. They have been behind cold-blooded murders of right-wing members and obtained explosives to target prominent people and places. So why object to a crackdown on such a radical organization?
All right, so what exactly does it entail? What are the implications of the ban of the PFI for 5 years. It's now been declared as an unlawful organization. What it means is you cannot be a member of this organization anymore. If you are becoming a member, then automatically you will be treated as a criminal. Also, forfeiture of property. The PFI as an organization cannot own any property because once the organization is banned, then it has to forfeit the properties in its name. It cannot organize. Articles of association will not happen or will not apply for an unlawful organization. Like the PFI, they will not be allowed to bring groups of people together and organize protests. Also, they cannot be taking donations. Remember, many organizations ask for donations, organize seminars, workshops, etc. None of those the PFI will be able to do. They can also not publish under the PFI name any more of their propaganda material. And also, most importantly, and I think this is where the nub of the fight is, their bank accounts. They will not have access to any financial resources. Bank accounts in the name of the organization will be frozen. Also, their properties, offices will be attached. There will also be travel curbs on their office bearers. They will not be allowed to travel far and wide if associated with the PFI. Let me now go across to Arunima, my colleague, who's been tracking this story. Now, one of the things that you've heard from political parties as well as other experts and analysts is that a ban doesn't materially amount to anything on the ground because today you've banned PFI, they can metamorphosize into something else, just like you did Simi a few years ago. Simi went on to become PFI. So how does the Home Ministry explain how they intend to counter that?
Well, this is not a version that they are supporting at all. In fact, senior police officials in states also who are dealing with PFI in their role of anti-terrorism unit, they also are saying this ban coupled with the All India action, the All India crackdown that has happened in the last 2 weeks, that has given them a huge leg up as far as their fight.
Thanks a lot for staying with us. A quick check of the day's biggest stories. Retired Lieutenant General Anil Chauhan has been named as India's Chief of Defence Staff. The post was lying vacant for over 9 months after the country's first CDS, General Bipin Rawat, was killed in a chopper crash last December. The appointment comes almost 4 months after government amended the Army, Air Force and Navy rules in early June. To broaden the pool for the selection of the CDS, it made retired 3-star officers among those eligible for the top post. In the midst of Rajasthan political turmoil, Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot will land in Delhi to meet Sonia Gandhi this evening. So far, no action has been recommended against him, while show-cause notices were issued to 3 Gehlot camp MLAs, Shanti Dharewal, Mahesh Joshi and Dharmendra Rathore, for holding parallel meetings. Meanwhile, senior leader Digvijay Singh has entered the Congress president's race and is all set to file his nomination papers. CBI has got 5 days custody of Vijay Nair, a close associate of Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, in connection with the excise policy scam. This is the first such arrest made in the case. Nair is one of the 15 named in the CBI's FIR. He is said to have been actively involved in irregularities in the framing and implementation of the excise policy in Delhi for the year 21-22. Apart from this, liquor businessman Sameer Mahendru has been arrested by the ED.
उसको गिरफ्तार कर लिया कि वो शराब दिल्ली के कोई शराब घोटाले में शामिल है। उसका दूर दूर तक उससे कोई लेना देना नहीं है। सो उसे क्यों गिरफ्तार किया गया? वो पिछले 4-5 दिन से उसको बुला भी रहे थे और कह रहे थे जबरदस्ती मनीष सिसोदिया जी का नाम लो, मनीष सिसोदिया जी का नाम लो। अब मनीष सिसोदिया जी के घर इन्होंने रेड कर ली, उसमें कुछ नहीं मिला।
विजय नायर की गिरफ्तारी यह बिल्कुल दर्शा रही है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी जो कह रही थी, जो स्टिंग बता रहे थे और जो जांच बता रही है कि दिल्ली की शराब नीति में बहुत बड़ा घोटाला हुआ है।
Aam Aadmi Party MLA Amanatullah Khan was granted bail today in connection with a case of alleged irregularities at Delhi Waqf Board that is being probed by the anti-corruption branch. Just 2 days back, he was sent to 14-day judicial custody. He's charged with making arbitrary and illegal recruitments, misappropriation of funds, and renting out properties belonging to the board. Centre today extended its program to provide free ration to poor by 3 months. This scheme provides 5 kilograms of wheat and rice free of cost to 800 million households every month and will now run till December 31. The decision was taken in the Union Cabinet headed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. A day after BCCI replaced Mohammad Shami in the T20 international squad for the South Africa series, the pacer has shared his negative COVID report on Instagram. He shared a picture of the report that does not have a date but has negative written over it. Turkish singer Melek Mosso cut her hair on stage during a show in solidarity with thousands of Iranian women who are demanding justice for the death of Mahsa Amini. Malik Mosso's act of protest was met with cheers. The video went viral after Iranian journalists Omid Memarian and Sima Sabit shared the clip. This is part of the anti-hijab protests that have been triggered in Iran post the death of Amini, who was allegedly beaten in custody by the country's morality police. Argentinian women have come out on the streets in solidarity with Iran's hijab protesters. The feminist movement in Buenos Aires has joined the international outcry for Mahsa Amini, the Iranian Kurdish woman who died in custody after being detained by the morality police. The group carried out the demonstration in front of Iran's embassy. Demonstrators showed banners depicting the Iranian government as a religious dictatorship and crying for justice after the woman's death. Hurricane Ian has intensified into an extremely dangerous Category 4 storm as it approached Florida in the U.S. Forecasters have predicted it would retain top winds of 220 kilometers per hour until landfall. The hurricane is expected to cause life-threatening storm surge, catastrophic winds and flooding in the Florida peninsula. Another powerful storm has hit central Vietnam earlier today. Storm Noru has blown off roofs, billboards, uprooted trees and has caused a widespread blackout affecting over 1 million households. There have not been any immediate reports of casualties, but authorities said it would bring more rain and could still pose further danger. According to state media, the typhoon has downgraded to a tropical depression now after making landfall. And finally, before I take your leave in Seen Unseen today, we leave you with women Indian Air Force pilots flying the indigenously developed ALH Dhruv Mark III helicopters over Arunachal Pradesh and Assam. Thanks a lot for watching.
Namaste and Jai Hind, ladies and gentlemen. I'm joining you from Jammu, the very, very special effort that we've put together, and we would show that to you later this evening. For long, I have wanted to come to Jammu and speak to the people here. When we talk about Jammu and Kashmir, Jammu largely goes unrepresented. But we'll talk about that and we'll showcase all of that later tonight on The Right Stand. But right now, the focus is by banning PFI and its affiliate organizations, fronts, etc., has the government of India taken the right stand? That is what we will try and look at while we speak to various voices. Joining us on the show tonight in a short while from now will be the National Secretary of the BJP, Shri Sunil Devdhar, followed by the Home Minister of Madhya Pradesh, who we hope we can get through, Narottam Mishra ji. And then we will have Dr. Tara Karta and Abhijit Iyer Mitra talking to us on what they believe the government has done, should have done, etc., and whether or not they've taken the right stand. So let's begin with what happened right at daybreak this morning, this Wednesday, where the PFI order came through by the government, where under sections 3 and 4 of the UAPA, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, the PFI, its affiliates, its fronts were all declared unlawful organizations. This is what the order said, quote unquote. The central government today hereby declares the Popular Front of India and its associates or affiliates of fronts, including Rehab India Foundation, Campus Front of India, All India Imams Council AIIC, Rights Organization NCHRO, National Women's Front, Junior Front, Empower India Foundation and Rehab Foundation Kerala as an unlawful association. That's what they have said. This is the MHA order, that the PFI and its affiliates, its fronts, etc. have been banned under Section 3 and 4 of the UAPA. Unlawful association is the point. Now, let me just quickly take you through what else has been said in this as far as the order and the reasons for the order. What are the reasons why the MHA has said we need to ban? PFI's sole objective is to expand its membership, pursuing secret agenda to radicalize society, disrespectful towards the constitutional setup. PFI has potential of disturbing communal harmony. Instances of PFI leaders linked with ISIS. PFI promoting sense of insecurity in the country. Governments of UP, Karnataka, Gujarat have recommended a ban on the PFI. This is what the order says, and it's justified and put out very clearly delineated reasons why the PFI, its fronts and its affiliates have been banned. And this ban and this notification came hours after a post-midnight PFI statement from its PR team, which actually had a 9-point counter. If we put out 9 different exclusives on grounds here at CNN News 18, it was a 9-point counter where largely the PFI claimed that it was a Hindutva fascist regime that has come out and is out on a witch hunt against the PFI. Let's take this aspect and whether or not the government of India has taken the right stand with Sri Sunil Devdhar, who's joining us now live at this point. Sunilji, namaste. You are the National Secretary of the BJP and you have actually tweeted, you've congratulated the Prime Minister and the Home Minister for taking this action where you believe, you said, that organizations that want to alternate the DNA of Bharat. Let's start there. Your thoughts on this crackdown and ban?
This was an excellent action taken by NIA, and the secrecy which was maintained and the way across the country it took place at the same time, and hundreds of people are arrested, terrorists or the people those who were involved in terrorist activities or those who were planning for some big terrorist events in this country to disturb the very DNA of our country. It was timely stopped, I can say, and that is why I have thanked Narendra Modi ji and Amit Shah ji for this timely action taken by them.
But Sunil ji, just about midnight, the PFI put out a statement where they said it's a Hindutva fascist regime with ED and NIA servile to this regime. And they've also used the term where they have said that courts are puppets at the hands of the government. They have said that this is a witch hunt by the Sangh Parivar. How would you respond?
See, it is an obvious response from their side because they understand what they are. They planned for the events which they planned for future to destroy this country, and they know that the real protectors of this country are the Hindutva forces, and they know this government because the previous governments were biryani khilao governments to these people. And number one, the biryani was stopped, and number two, the real medicine has been given by Narendra Modi ji and Amit Shah ji, that this type of things will not be tolerated in this country. You can see that after Narendra Modi ji took over this country as a Pradhan Sevak, I can call, 8 years plus some months have passed. There is no single terrorist attack happened in our country excluding Jammu and Kashmir. But what was happening previous to this was the bomb blast in Mumbai, Bangalore, and number of places in this country, serial blast. Now everything has been stopped. Nobody is discussing today about Nota Bandi. But definitely one thing which is being done because of Nota Bandi, or which is the outcome of Nota Bandi, is the terrorist funding, this total funding was in black money and cash money, which was totally destroyed because of Notabandi. And so these people, PFI, SDPI people, they know that if anybody is there to support them, they are the only leftist lobby or Tukde gang or Congress or some family enterprise parties in this country, those who are totally indulged in corruption. And maybe some parties like Arvind Kejriwal, those who are Naxal parties, I can definitely call them Naxal parties, because their ideology, their deeds, their decisions and their comments and their way of conducting are definitely, they are urban Naxals. And that is why they will support this PFI, SDPI. And the true nationalist of this country, that is Bharatiya Janata Party, and obviously Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangha and Swayamsevaks organizations, they understand that PFI, SDPI, they understand that these are the people, those who are not going to tolerate any attack on sovereignty of our country and our Bharat Mata.
Well, you talked about those who will perhaps give cover fire to organizations like the PFI, but there are also Congress leaders in Kerala. One of them has come out and said very openly that the RSS should also be banned.
There is no comparison of RSS with all these organizations. There is no comparison. मतलब इसके बारे में ऐसा बोलना ही पाप है. And forget about Congress, Anandji. That person, whoever has spoken this, he should go and go to history and read. He should see that Pandit Nehru initially banned RSS. And it was Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's decision that Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangha was invited for Patha Sanchalan on 26 January. So he should correct himself, being a congressman. Secondly, after when Indira Gandhi second time banned RSS, and when she feared and what she experienced after that ban, and she realized that I was totally wrong what I did, and after she came back to power, she never uttered a single word about RSS. A single word about RSS after the ban was lifted and Janata government collapsed and Indira Gandhi again came to power. If you can check all the audios or visuals or the statements of late Rajiv Gandhi ji, then you will not find a single comment on RSS, barring once I remember he said that बाहर जो मोर्चा के लिए आए उनकी खाकी हाफ पैंट साफ जला कर आओ. एक comment सिर्फ उनकी थी. Otherwise, even Rajiv Gandhi never uttered a single word about RSS, because they understood that RSS is different. RSS is a truly nationalist party. And what about social service RSS is giving for this country? Crores of people are being benefited because of the social service organizations of Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangha, Swayamsevaks. Whenever there is a natural calamity, everyone has appreciated that before government machinery reach, before even army reach to help out people, Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangha, Swayamsevaks reach. But Srinagar airport was cleared as Sangha Swayamsevaks in 1998 when jihadis attacked Jammu Kashmir to capture it, and Indian army could land on Jammu Kashmir on Srinagar airport only because RSS Swayamsevaks, risking their life, they cleared the snow which was lying on the airstrip of Srinagar, and thousands of examples can be given. So Anandji, there is no comparison between RSS and any other such fraud organizations.
But the PFI says they have modeled themselves on the RSS. What RSS is for Hindus and Hindutva, PFI is doing the same for Muslims, because RSS doesn't care for Muslims. That's what the PFI thinks.
basically PFI knows what actually RSS is doing, but they want to mislead people by their statements. They know that what RSS is doing, they are not doing. Can they show a single blood bank started by them? Single blood, I am just giving one example. Show me one blood bank they have started.
Organized a lot of blood
I can tell you
campaigns.
thousands of blood banks initiated by RSS Swayamsevaks in this country. Schools, hospitals, hostels, and number of things, social service projects. So they don't know what RSS is doing. I will not say this, rather I will correct myself, that they know what RSS is doing. Everyone knows, but it is only a propaganda because they want to save their faces, or they show that RSS that we are also good for Muslims, and that is why they are doing. This is absolutely unfortunate.
You are currently active. So Sunilji, you are currently active in Andhra Pradesh. So let me ask you, you've got responsibility there. Was the PFI present there? Is the PFI, SDPI, its offshoots? Have you seen them active in Andhra Pradesh?
I remember there were riots happened in Atmakur in Andhra Pradesh. During those riots, thousands of radicals came down on streets, and even they set the police station on fire, and our district president and general secretaries of Bharatiya Janata Party were rescued by local SP in midnight time. And next day in his press conference he said that we had reports that the training camps of SDPI and PFI were going on in that region. And definitely I can appreciate all the state governments, those who supported this action, apart from their political ideologies, apart from their political line or thinking. You can see the governments are supporting NIA because bottom of their hearts they understand that this is the threat to our country, our people. And that is why even politics, such type of politics in future is not going to serve any person in this country. Even those who are pure, honest Muslims, I believe that their number is in crores in this country. They are not indulged in such type of activities. So even for them also, even for their protection as well, this action was required.
But Sunilji, is this too little too late or is it timely?
नहीं देर नहीं हुई, ऐसा है ना. Discussion was going on, questions were raised. See, anything which on the part of government, it takes time because we have to collect all evidences before such action, and evidences, then the whereabouts of the people, and it should not be leaked. See the secrecy of the. I wonder about the secrecy, and I really appreciate our Home Minister Amit Bhai Shahji and his team, that how secretly the thing might be it was going on from before few months, but it was not leaked at all. And suddenly the news came that hundreds of people from different destinations were arrested. They had every single information, who is sleeping in which room, who is traveling in which bogie, who is crossing which border, everything was there. And at a day, single day, it started. And now the PFI and SDPI are leaderless because all are inside.
Well, IB, NIA and of course the NSA, they were all present in the control room. That's what we're given to understand. And this is a process that's taken at least 2 to 3 months of preparation and 2 to 3 weeks of recce. But final question, Sunilji, let me ask you, will you call it a surgical strike on anti-India forces, internal strike?
Yes, definitely.
Thank you very much for making the time and speaking with us. Sunil Devdhar, National Secretary of the BJP there. Now we've got Narottam Mishra, Home Minister Madhya Pradesh with us. Narottam Mishra ji, Dr. Narottam Mishra, नमस्ते. आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है? मैं आनंद नरसिम्हन. मेरा पहला प्रश्न आपसे यही है कि PFI के बैन पर आप क्या कहेंगे?
मैं स्वागत करता हूं इस निर्णय का कि
जी
ये जो राष्ट्र विरोधी गतिविधियों में संलग्न हैं PFI जैसे संगठन, जो टेरर फंडिंग जिनको हो रही है, ऐसे संगठन जिनके ISI से जुड़े होने के प्रमाण मिले हैं, ऐसे लोग जिनका केरल में, तमिलनाडु में, कर्नाटक में, उड़ीसा में हत्याओं में संलिप्तता पाई गई है, ऐसे संगठनों पर प्रतिबंध लगना चाहिए, मेरी ऐसी मान्यता है। और इसलिए मैं माननीय
PFI का कहना है कि
अमित शाह जी का आभार व्यक्त करता हूं।
बट नरोत्तम मिश्रा जी, PFI का कहना है कि हिंदुत्ववादी, फासीवादी ताकतें और उनके चेले चपाटे हमारे पीछे पड़े हैं। आप क्या कहेंगे?
देखो, ओबीसी जी हो, दिग्विजय सिंह जी हो, या आप जिनका जिक्र कर रहे हैं वो हो, मैं कह सकता हूं कि मुझे संघ का स्वयंसेवक होने पर गर्व है, लेकिन PFI पर शर्म है। ये कह सकते हैं ओवैसी जी, दिग्विजय सिंह जी के ये PFI के सदस्य बने या हम हैं या हम समर्थन करते हैं, नहीं कह सकते जी। इसी से समझ में आ जाता है ये जानबूझ के हिंदू मुसलमान करना चाहते हैं। हम हिंदू मुसलमान नहीं करना चाहते हैं। अपराधी आतंकवादी हो, PFI का हो, प्रतिबंधित संगठन का हो, या जिसका भी हो, अपराधी अपराध होता है और अपराधी की कोई जात नहीं होती।
आप इसे एक इंटरनल सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक करेंगे नरोत्तम मिश्रा जी? आपने कुछ कहा था ऐसा ही।
हाँ, मैंने सुबह ही कहा था कि वह सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक उस समय हुई थी जब आतंकवादियों पर आकर अटैक किया था पाकिस्तान की सीमा में जाके। सर्जिकल एयर स्ट्राइक और सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक ये आंतरिक सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक है, जिसमें एक साथ देश के कई ठिकानों पर ऐसे लोग जो देश विरोधी कार्य में संलिप्तता पाई गई थी, उन पर स्ट्राइक करके उनके संगठन को नेस्त नाबूद किया गया है और प्रतिबंधित किया गया है।
अब यहाँ कांग्रेस के नेता कहते हैं, नरोत्तम मिश्रा जी, केरल में भी किसी कांग्रेस के नेता ने कहा है कि अब PFI और उनके ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को बैन किया तो RSS और उनके साथी संगठनों को भी बैन करिए, दोनों एक ही जैसे हैं।
भाई, ये कांग्रेस की राजनीतिक तुष्टीकरण की है। वो कांग्रेस का नेता कह सकता है कि हमें PFI का सदस्य होने पर गर्व है? नहीं कह सकता। कोई कांग्रेसी कह सकता है? नहीं। हम कह सकते हैं हमें RSS का स्वयंसेवक होने पर गर्व है। ये अंतर है दोनों में। RSS को कांग्रेस के प्रमाण पत्र की जरूरत नहीं है। एक राष्ट्र भक्तों का संगठन है जिसने देश पर जब भी आपदा आई, विपत्ति आई, तब संघ के स्वयंसेवक सीना खोल के देश भारत माँ की आराधना के लिए अग्रसर रहे। इतना बड़ा अभी कोरोना का काल आया, वैश्विक संकट था। सोनिया गांधी जी से लेकर इनके नीचे के नेता केरल वाले, चाहे मध्य प्रदेश के, कोई अस्पताल में देखे अनाज बांटते दिखे? नहीं। लेकिन RSS के स्वयंसेवक दिखे, ये उनकी क्या होड़ करेंगे? ये कांग्रेस के लोग हैं जो सेना पर सवाल उठाते हैं, जो सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक पर सवाल उठाते हैं, ये आंतरिक एयर आंतरिक स्ट्राइक पर सवाल उठाते हैं, ये वैक्सीन पर सवाल उठाते हैं, ये EVM पर सवाल उठाते हैं, ये न्यायपालिका पर सवाल उठाते हैं। ये कांग्रेस का चरित्र है। उसी के कारण से अब आधे प्रदेश में कांग्रेस रह गई है, एक प्रदेश भी नहीं बचा अब उनके पास।
पर नरोत्तम मिश्रा जी, मध्य प्रदेश को तो देश का दिल माना जाता है। अब देश के दिल में ही अगर ये घुस के बैठे हैं तो आप क्या कहेंगे? हाल फिलहाल में देखिए मध्य प्रदेश में कितनों की अरेस्ट हुई है। ये सब अपनी जड़ें वहां मजबूत करते हुए दिख रहे हैं। JMB हो, अंसारुल्लाह बांग्ला हो, ISIS हो, PFI के हो, सभी कितने तो यहाँ मध्य प्रदेश में से पकड़े गए।
गिरफ्तारी हुई है तो जड़ें जमाई नहीं, जड़ जमाने की कोशिश है, और हर कोशिश को हमने नाकाम किया है। चाहे वो चोरी वाले के रूप में हो, चाहे खरगोन दंगे के रूप में हो, चाहे अभी हो, हम इनको जड़ें नहीं जमाने देंगे। हमने मध्य प्रदेश में सिमी का नेटवर्क समाप्त कर दिया। सिमी अब इतिहास की वस्तु हो गई। आज के बाद PFI भी इतिहास की वस्तु होगा। 25 लोग हिरासत में हैं, बहुत जल्दी इनकी जो स्लीपर सेल हैं वो भी हिरासत में होंगे।
चलिए देखिए, अभी आपदा पूरी तरह से टली नहीं है, चैलेंज अभी भी है, लेकिन अभी तक जो अचीव किया गया है उसके लिए सबको ये क्रेडिट जाता है कि इन्वेस्टिगेशन एजेंसीज ने जिस तरह से इसको एग्जीक्यूट किया है. Thank you for speaking with us, Dr. Narottam Mishra, Home Minister of Madhya Pradesh, with us here. Now quickly, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen, and ask our two experts this evening whether or not the government of India has taken the right stand. Dr. Tara Karta, former Director, National Security Council Secretariat, will be joining us live, and Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Senior Fellow, Institute of the Peace and Conflict Studies, is also with us. Abhijit Iyer Mitra and Dr. Tara Karta, namaste. Abhijit, let me start with you and ask you: has the government of India taken the right stand? Have they gone about it the right way? Under sections 3 and 4, they've called it an unlawful association. They've not called it a terror organization under section 1. But they have they're moving towards a comprehensive ban and also crippling the finances and also social media footprint.
Absolutely. Look, first the process was right. They didn't ban it and then look for proof. They've gone about, because, this is a Hydra-headed organization. They've learned from Pakistan where, everybody has their civil organization, their charity organization, and then their terror wing. PFI has spread like this into many Hydra heads. And what they've done is they've raided all of them. They've collected the requisite amount of proof that satisfied them. And then they've gone in for a ban. And this is what you need to do if you fear that some organization is ultimately going to be become a terror organization. The problem with classifying a terror organization has always been that it's impossible to prove that A, B, C or XYZ is going to explode a bomb somewhere, right? So there are new definitions required for this. You need to be proactive in this because, you can't wait for a bomb to go off and then cry yourself hoarse. Now, the problem here has always been how do we navigate that legal boundary between proactive banning or post facto banning? And I would say in cases of national security, it is probably much better to go in for proactive bans, given that this is not a political organization that we're talking about. This is a political propaganda organization. Rather, it is a religious propaganda organization. Which should not be given the protections that political organizations are given.
Dr. Tara Karta?
No, I think it's certainly the right way to go about it, that you are cutting off, like Abhijit said, something which has grown, like I said earlier on your show, it has grown hugely over the last 10 years. It's kind of created this whole atmosphere of hatred, and that is what I am really upset about, is that there is this, they fuel this sense of alienation from the majority community. From that comes the terror attacks by a few, who've joined up with the Islamic State, who've joined up, the attack on the Kabul Gurdwara and so on and so forth. That is a very small percentage. But that climate of hatred which they've created is what is dangerous and is what we need to reverse. But having said that, I mean, banning something is the easiest task actually. Now comes the next step. I mean, they will reinvent themselves into something else. There is the question of the resentment of these cadres, particularly students, the young people who've joined some of these organizations, sometimes on genuine causes. Let's not forget that. Sometimes the causes have been genuine. So the question is, how do you prevent this from coming up again in another form and doing the same things these guys did for years? It's a very, very organized one with and remember, it's very curious. It doesn't keep a record of members. So which is very unusual. So it's a kind of the shadowy organization which probably is still there. I mean, you can ban it till the cows come home. But this sentiment of hatred that has been fueled is going to remain. So how do you deal with that? That is my question. My suggestion is, if I can say, just give me a minute, is that you hive away whatever is the social work that they're doing, whatever the good that they're doing, and try and rework it into another organization which can then receive formal state support. So, okay, you're doing welfare work, go ahead and do it. That reduces the hatred, that reduces the cadres, that reduces the suspicions. That's one way to go.
But in doing that, you're also taking a risk because you do not know who's radicalized and who's not, because they have always posed a very, very benign front, despite what their real intent is. Abhijit Iyer Mitra, it cannot stop here. You cannot say, okay, we have done the crackdown, we've done all of this, now it's over. It doesn't stop here. Perhaps the work just starts now.
It is. This is just the beginning. We can't see this as the end. As Tara ma'am said, this is just the beginning, because now what you'll have to do is you'll have to keep putting the people who associated with the PFI under the scanner. And remember, they've got a whole bunch of overground workers, be it lawyers or so-called public intellectuals, etc., who will support them. What are you going to deal with that? Because see, their job specifically is to carry on the radicalization through other means. What are we going to do about that? What are we going to do about the same people reassociating in different forms? Remember, PFI itself is a sort of reforming of the SIMI which got banned. I'm not saying this, it's the government that's saying this, right? So what do we do about that? That is point number one. Remember, even in cases of charity and good work, if you remember, Hezbollah in Lebanon started off as a charity organization. Where the state capacity was extremely limited, where the Lebanese government could not provide any kind of services, health, anything of that sort to the average Shia in Lebanon. This is how Hezbollah grew, and then they based their military wing. They used it as a front for money laundering, and they based their entire military wing. And today they're one of the most powerful. They're almost like a state within a state. So we also have to prevent that out here. And there's really no easy ways here, because there's too many shades of grey here. We don't know when one metastasizes into the other.
Very, very well said. We just have to keep our antennas up, our eyes open, our ears always to the ground and listening, and to try and nip this into the bud, not allow it to become a hydra over a decade and a half, and then move to crack it down, because sometimes you cannot weed out everything. You cannot weed out all of the grass. There will be those which will sprout back again, and that's the big danger as far as society is concerned. Dr. Tara Karta and Abhijit Iyer Mitra, thank you very much. Keeping this conversation short today because I want to do justice to Jammu. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a very special effort. We're up next after the break. Stay with us here on The Right Stand.
Officials have just arrived.
The ban was welcomed by most state governments.
This is a very, very welcoming move. PFI and CFI create a fertile ground. Al-Qaeda Indian subcontinent can recruit youth.
जो minorities है उसमें घुसकर वहाँ पर अनरेस्ट निर्माण करना, वहाँ पर इंडोक्ट्रिनेशन करना, फंडिंग की भी अपनी व्यवस्था की है, छोटे छोटे अकाउंट निकालकर उसके माध्यम से किसी के ध्यान में ना आए इस प्रकार से ये टेरर फंडिंग कर रहे थे.
But politics wasn't far behind, with many opposition leaders questioning the move.
Every Muslim youth will now be arrested with a PFI pamphlet under India's black law UAPA. How come PFI is banned but organized associated with convicts of Khaja Ajmeri bomb blast are not? Why has government not banned right-wing majoritarian organization?
Bans really have not worked in the past. The same people can work with a different name in a different organization. Earlier RSS were banned thrice. Has it stopped them?
For several years now, PFI has been one of the biggest threats to India. Their members chopped the hand of a college professor in Kerala. They've been behind cold-blooded murders of right-wing members and obtained explosives to target prominent people and places. So why object to a crackdown on such a radical organization?
All right, so what exactly does it entail? What are the implications of the ban of the PFI for 5 years? It's now been declared as an unlawful organization. What it means is you cannot be a member of this organization anymore. If you are becoming a member, then automatically you will be treated as a criminal. Also, forfeiture of property. The PFI as an organization cannot own any property, because once the organization is banned, then it has to forfeit the properties in its name. It cannot organize. Articles of association will not happen or will not apply for an unlawful organization. Like the PFI, they will not be allowed to bring groups of people together and organize protests. Also, they cannot be taking donations. Remember, many organizations ask for donations, organize seminars, workshops, etc. None of those the PFI will be able to do. They can also not publish under the PFI name any more of their propaganda material. And also, most importantly, and I think this is where the nub of the fight is, their bank accounts. They will not have access to any financial resources. Bank accounts in the name of the organization will be frozen. Also, their properties, offices will be attached. There will also be travel curbs on their office bearers. They will not be allowed to travel far and wide if associated with the PFI. Let me now go across to Arunima, my colleague who's been tracking this story. Now, one of the things that you've heard from political parties as well as other experts and analysts is that a ban doesn't materially amount to anything on the ground, because today you've banned PFI, they can metamorphosize into something else, just like you did Simi a few years ago. Simi went on to become PFI. So how does the Home Ministry explain how they intend to counter that?
Well, this is not a version that they are supporting at all. In fact, senior police officials in states also who are dealing with PFI in their role of anti-terrorism unit, they also are saying this ban, coupled with the All India action, the All India crackdown that has happened in the last 2 weeks, that has given them a huge leg up as far as their fight against a Popular Front of India-led radicalization and quote-unquote terror is concerned. Why are they saying that? First point they're saying is that it is not easy to regroup, because now that PFI is a banned organization, anybody who was associated is on the radar of intelligence agencies, state police agencies. So if you become a sleeper cell and if you become from dormant, you become active, you will be immediately on the scanner of the agency. So that's point number one. Second, they're saying, where will you get a committed leadership from? All the top leadership is now in custody. Now that PFI is a banned organization, there is greater chance of them not being, even if they are set free, there is a very less chance of them able to put together an organization like PFI. So getting a committed leadership is the second most important difficulty. Third, as far as funding is concerned, we have learned that the National Investigation Agency has already frozen the main PFI account in which donations came, and now every other donation will be monitored as well. So there were some experts who were saying that what about the dark web, what about crypto? There are other ways to get donation. So the police men and women I spoke to are confident that now that PFI has been banned and the top leadership is in custody, together these two moves will ensure that they have a greater grip, a tighter grip on that funding route as well. They're hoping interrogation of the chairman, the national executive members will give them more insight as to how this funding was being done, and that will help them prevent it.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Thanks very much, Arunima, for joining us with your perspective and details of what is the rationale, what is the thinking behind this ban. Let me now go across to our guests who are joining us. Vikram Singh, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, Swapnil Kothari, senior lawyer, Abhijit Majumdar is consulting editor with First Post, and Maulana Ali Qadri, Islamic scholar, also joining us. Maulana Qadri, मैं आपसे शुरू करूंगा. पिछले हफ्ते 10 दिन में करीबन 300 जगहों पे रेड हुए हैं. 300 से ज़्यादा PFI के या तो नेता लोग नहीं तो उनके कार्यकर्ता लोग अरेस्ट हुए हैं. उनमें से काफ़ी सारों को कोर्ट्स ने पुलिस कस्टडी, शायद NIA कस्टडी हो या बाकी पुलिस एजेंसीज जो हैं उनके कस्टडी में भेजे हैं. इनके यहाँ से काफ़ी सारे इंक्रिमिनेटिंग मटेरियल्स भी रिकवर हुआ है. तो ऐसे एक संगठन को हम प्रोत्साहन क्यों देना चाहिए सर? इसको बैन करने का
Namaste and Jai Hind. It's been a long time that I've been wanting to be here, and finally it has happened. I am in Jammu. I've always had an issue with the Jambalians who have come back and said कि आप हमेशा कश्मीर चले जाते हो, श्रीनगर चले जाते हो, जम्मू भी आया करो. And we are here in Jammu, and we will talk to the people and residents of Jammu. It's been a very, very eventful day, ladies and gentlemen. PFI has been banned, its affiliates, fronts have been banned. They were carrying out an agenda that perhaps many believe was manifest in the 90s in Jammu and Kashmir. And were they trying to take that pan-India? 3 years since the abrogation of Article 370, Jammu में क्या बदला है? जम्मू कश्मीर में क्या बदला है? और आगे जाके क्या होगा? Because elections are impending. What are the expectations? And of course, we'll try and sort out some of the narratives that are being spun. With us is perhaps a very, very august gathering which at such short notice, I myself personally am very glad that we were able to manage, and I thank them right at the outset. First up with me, Dr. S.P. Vaid, former DGP, Jammu and Kashmir. Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Thank you very much. Good to meet you in person.
Thank you, Anand.
We have Rajiv Chunni representing the POJK refugees. Namaste, Rajiv ji. Thank you very much. Dr. Agnishekhar representing Kashmiri Pandits.
Namaskar.
Namaste,
Thank
sir.
you.
Namaste and Jai Hind. Thank you very much. And Dr. Gopal Sarthi Sharma representing the Dogras.
नमस्कार.
नमस्कार नमस्कार. थैंक यू वेरी मच. तो सबसे पहले आप ही से शुरू करते हैं गोपाल सारथी जी. एक बात बताइए, आज देश में जो सबसे पहले whatever has happened, the banning of the PFI and its affiliate organizations, how do you view this?
From Jammu Kashmir's point of view, I think since we are a border state, and I think such organizations, formations, they should be crushed. They should be booked under particular laws, and I think this is a welcome step.
Is this a timely step or is it too little too late? Let me ask you, Agnishekhar ji.
मुझे लगता है बहुत देर के बाद एक कदम उठाया गया है. पहले से हो चुका होना चाहिए था, और कई ऐसे कदम जो उठाए जाने हैं या जा रहे हैं वो भी बहुत लेट है. जिसे संगीत में कहते हैं ना, विलंबित राग है ये. विलंबित राग है और इसको बहुत पहले से उठाया जाना चाहिए, क्योंकि जैसे हमारे भाई साहब ने कहा, ये सीमा प्रांत देश है. इसकी विशेषता अलग है. हमारे वैद साहब है, वो उसके अधिकारी हैं, और ये जो नॉर्थ वेस्ट फ्रंटियर है आपका, इस पर तो स्पेशल अटेंशन होना, इसमें कोई आपको डिले करने की कोई नहीं बनती है जवाजियत.
नहीं होना चाहिए. और कहीं ना कहीं कश्मीरी पंडितों के साथ भी कोर्ट सब कह रहे हैं इट इज टू लेट.
नहीं, कोर्ट इतना ही नहीं करा. अगर आप उस मुद्दे पे आए तो ये इट्स शॉकिंग कि जुडिशरी 4 बार टर्न डाउन करती है आपका. जब आप जाते हैं कि हमारे इशू को एड्रेस करिए, सुमोटो आपने नहीं किया, हम सप्लिकेट कर रहे हैं, लेकिन आप टर्न डाउन करते कहते इट्स वेरी लेट. या आप एग्जीक्यूटिव के पास जाइए. और 32 साल से हम किनके पास जा रहे थे? 32 साल से वी हैव बीन क्राइंग, फाइटिंग एंड डिमांडिंग आवर राइट्स टू बी रिस्टोर्ड. दैट्स हमारी घर वापसी, जिसे आप कहें ना, कश्मीर वापसी, जिसे हमने कहा कि वहाँ रिजेक्शन है कोएग्जिस्टेंस का. और इतना कुछ जो कुछ हुआ है उसका वेलकम करते हुए मैं आपको मूल बात की जो कोर इशू ये है, अब वहाँ एकदम जिहाद है, इट्स नॉट मिलिटेंसी. वहाँ आपका रिजेक्शन है, वहाँ जेनोसाइड है. इट्स नॉट कि कश्मीरी पंडितों को निकालना पड़ा. और जब तक कि उस जेनोसाइड को रिवर्स करने के लिए आपके पास कानून भी नहीं है हमारे पास, क्योंकि जेनोसाइड को ट्राई करने के लिए, पनिश करने के लिए, ये करने के लिए हमारे पास नहीं है. उसका चूंकि भारत कन्वेंशन ऑफ जेनोसाइड का सिग्नेटरी होने के बाद भी 59 में आपने रेक्टिफाई भी किया, लेकिन कानून नहीं है. तो हम ट्राई कर रहे हैं कि भैया इसको एड्रेस करो संविधान, संसद में आप प्रिवेंशन ऑफ जेनोसाइड बिल लाइए, और उसके हिसाब से क्या होगा कि आपका रिवर्सल ऑफ जेनोसाइड के लिए रास्ता खुलेगा.
करेक्ट. व्हाट इज सिमिलर to the operation of the PFI and what its intent was to what we saw in the 90s in Jammu and Kashmir, and what is different?
See, what PFI was trying to do is, in collaboration with international terror organizations, in collaboration with international forces, whether it is based in Turkey, whether it's based in China, based in Middle East, Pakistan, trying to do Ghazba-e-Hind, trying to do radicalize the youth, Muslim youth, gullible boys in India, and create badge between the two communities, give arms training to those young boys. You saw there a document in Patna which was revealed how they were planning to have a Islamic rule by 2047, assassinate the Prime Minister. They are involved in number of communal rights across the country, and so many violent incidents in Kerala and many other states. Some similar things have been happening in Kashmir. In fact, 90s mein, it was a mini Ghazba-e-Hind, what was done in Kashmir. And I would see it is a larger version of what happened in Kashmir trying to do in India. And I'm glad that government has, whether it is a surgical strike, action has been taken, and it was required. We must decimate such organizations who are out there to destroy India's unity and integrity, a multicultural society.
We are at Baghe-Bahu. The story behind this is that the founders of Jammu decided to set a capital or set a kingdom here because they saw the Bagh and the Bakri drinking water from the same pond. That's the iconic steps of Baghe-Bahu. So that's what makes this special. But यहाँ तो बाघ बकरी का चोगा ओढ़ के घूम रहा था कि भाई मैं तो बकरी हूँ. आपको लग रहा है कहीं ये चल रहा है?
बिल्कुल ऐसा है कि ये बिल्कुल फेमस स्टोरी है कि कैसे जम्मू स्टैब्लिश किया गया, और जम्मू का कल्चर भी वैसा है। अगर आप देखें, जम्मू ने एक्सेप्ट किया जब 90s में कश्मीर में ही हुआ, कश्मीरी पंडित भाइयों को यहाँ एक्सेप्ट किया। उसके बाद बहुत सारे मुस्लिम्स को अटैक किया जो नेशनलिस्ट थे या पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स थे, उनको अटैक किया। उन्होंने भी यहाँ आकर घर बनाए। लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं जम्मू के लोगों में ये फीलिंग होती है, जब पॉलिटिकल स्टेटमेंट ऐसे आते हैं कि 2.5 डिस्ट्रिक्ट रह गए हिंदुओं के, तो उनको लगता है कहीं मिनी गजबे हिंद तो हमारा तो नहीं हुआ। आपने कश्मीर से हिंदुओं को भगाया, आपने जम्मू के पहाड़ों से इनको भगाया, अब जम्मू में इस तरह से अगर आप करेंगे तो वो एक सेंटिमेंट, राइट और रॉन्ग इज देयर। सो आपने जो कहा कि बकरी एक
बाघ एक बकरी का
चोला बैठ के, यस, to some extent that is visible here. That is why people have these apprehensions. Otherwise, Kashmir based leadership should have developed. Jammu has as much potential of tourism as in Kashmir. If you see, since 47, not even 10% budget has been spent in Jammu region. 90% goes to Kashmir. This is a very strong feeling in Jammu region.
And I'm going to ask Rajiv Chunni ji, Rajiv ji, वेस्ट पाक हिंदूज के लिए सीएए का नोटिफिकेशन कब आएगा? इसके इंतजार में कितने लोग बैठे हैं? एंड डू यू बिलीव दैट दोज हु हैव कम फ्रॉम पीओके और पीओजेके, दे हैव बीन गिवन देयर ड्यू इवन आफ्टर द एब्रोगेशन ऑफ 370?
पाकिस्तान की बंदूक से जो पहली गोली चली थी वो मेरे लोगों की छाती पर चली थी। मुजफ्फराबाद, मीरपुर और पुंछ के इलाके,
थोड़ा सा माइक ऊपर,
जो आज पाकिस्तान के कब्जे में है। ये सारा इलाका पाक अधिकृत कश्मीर है और ये लोग बोनाफाइड जम्मू कश्मीर के नागरिक हैं। उसके बावजूद हमारे साथ जातियां होती रहीं। फिर आ गए वेस्ट पाकिस्तानी जिनका आपने जिक्र किया। ये वो लोग हैं जो इंडिया पाकिस्तान की पार्टीशन के विक्टिम हैं। इनको पंजाब जाना था, ये गलती से जम्मू कश्मीर आ गए और ये वापस जा रहे थे। और शेख अब्दुल्ला साहब जो इमरजेंसी एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर थे, उनको रोकते हैं हीरानगर के पास। बहुत बड़ा काफिला था। उन्होंने कहा कहाँ जा रहे हो? उन्होंने कहा हम हिंदुस्तान जा रहे हैं। कहने लगे आप यहाँ रहिए, ये भी हिंदुस्तान है। और वो लोग थोड़े जानते थे। उन्होंने कहा यहाँ कैसे रह सकते हैं? यहाँ तो महाराजा हरि सिंह जी ने स्टेट सब्जेक्ट का कानून बना रखा है और हम तो यहाँ के नागरिक नहीं है। उन्होंने कहा मैं आपको दूंगा, आप यहाँ रहिए। रखा। 75 ईयर्स हो गए, उन लोगों को कोई अधिकार नहीं मिले। उनकी 3 पीढ़ियां यहाँ पैदा हुई, लेकिन स्टेट सब्जेक्ट का राइट नहीं मिला। नौकरी नहीं कर सकते थे, कॉलेज में नहीं जा सकते थे। मैंने कई बार फारूक साहब से, उमर साहब से, मुफ्ती साहब से ये बात कही कि कोई पहाड़ गिरने वाला नहीं है। आप इन लोगों को जो इतने सालों से रह रहे हैं, इनको दे दीजिए। आप सारे लोगों को ना दीजिए, लेकिन इनको दीजिए। लेकिन उनकी जिद ने क्या किया कि यहाँ जब धारा 370 हटी, 35 से हटी, वो सारे लोग यहाँ के नागरिक हो गए। आज उनको यहाँ डोमिसाइल मिले, वो बड़े खुश हैं। आप इनकी क्रिश्चियंस की बात कर लीजिए, आप वाल्मीकिस की बात कर लीजिए, आप गोरखास की बात कर लीजिए, आप पश्चिमी पाकिस्तानियों की बात कर लीजिए। हालांकि मेरे लोग तो यहाँ के बोनाफाइड सिटीजन्स थे, उसके बावजूद हमने इसका स्वागत किया। इसलिए क्योंकि धारा 370 रहने के बाद, 35 से रहने के बाद भी, मेरा यहाँ की नागरिकता होने के बाद भी मुझे वो अधिकार नहीं दिए गए जो मिलने चाहिए थे। और मैं
क्यों नहीं दिए गए? आपको क्यों लगता है इन्होंने मना क्यों किया?
देखें, एक माइंडसेट था जिसकी चर्चा सारे मेरे पैनलिस्ट ने की है कि जो कश्मीरी माइंडसेट था। और मैं एक बात और बता दूं, तिब्बत से कुछ लोग आए जो मुस्लिम परिवार थे, उनको यहाँ स्टेट सब्जेक्ट का राइट दे दिया गया और वो लेह लद्दाख में जाके सेटल हुए।
तो यानी ये तो पूरी तरह कम्युनल एजेंडा हो गया।
कम्युनल एंड पॉलिटिकल वोट
बैंक या डेमोग्राफिकली चेंज करने की कोशिश थी कि भाई इस एरिया को हमेशा के लिए गैर मुसलमानों से रिक्त।
बिल्कुल, कश्मीर में कश्मीर के अंदर तिब्बत कॉलोनी है। जो तिब्बत से आए लोग हैं, चाइना के उस हिस्से से।
और वो बौद्ध हैं कि मुसलमान हैं?
मुस्लिम लोग हैं। उनको स्टेट सब्जेक्ट का राइट दिया गया। मैं चूंकि हिंदू था, और मैं एक बात बता दूं, मेरे पे इसीलिए हमला किया गया, पाकिस्तान ने किया, चूंकि हम हिंदू और सिख थे और वो नहीं चाहते थे यहाँ कोई हिंदू सिख रहे। वो पूरी तरह से डेमोग्राफी को बदलना चाहते थे।
गोपाल सारथी जी, द होल एजेंडा तो पूरी तरह से कम्युनल हो गया। आप ये कह रहे हैं कि फॉर्मर पॉलिटिकल लीडर्स जो यहाँ पर थे, वो डेमोग्राफिकली नहीं चाहते थे कि कोई भी नॉन मुस्लिम ग्रुपिंग यहाँ पर पहुंचे। ये बात सही है, गलत है? उनको जम्मू में रखिए, कश्मीर में मत आने दीजिए।
देखिए, ये लफ्जों का हेर फेर हो सकता है, पॉलिटिकल स्टेटमेंट्स अलग अलग हो सकती हैं, लेकिन एक हार्ड फैक्ट है कि कश्मीर सेंट्रिक लीडरशिप का एजेंडा जो रहा है टोटली कॉम्युनल रहा है। उसमें कोई दो राय नहीं हो सकती है। इंटरनेशनल कम्युनिटी नोज दिस थिंग, नेशनली एवरीबडी नोज दिस थिंग, विद इन स्टेट वी नॉट ओनली नो दिस, वी हैव फेस्ड इट। सो आई थिंक इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है, एजेंडा इनका कॉम्युनल है। और जहां तक अगर मैं जम्मू की बात करूं और जम्मू प्रोविंस की बात करूं, जम्मू प्रोविंस में नो डाउट हिंदू, मुस्लिम, सिख, क्रिश्चियंस, वाल्मीकिस, देयर आर सो मेनी पीपल, लेकिन जम्मू की इक्वालिटी रही है। वी आर द रियल कॉस्मोपॉलिटन पीपल। 1947 से आप ले लीजिए, 47 की माइग्रेशन, 65 की माइग्रेशन, 71 में माइग्रेशन, 89 में माइग्रेशन, डोडा किश्तवाड़ से माइग्रेशन, रियासी के अपर रीचेस से माइग्रेशन, एवरी माइग्रेशन वी हैव एक्सेप्टेड विद ओपन आर्म्स। और ऐसा कॉस्मोपॉलिटन कल्चर है हमारा, हमें कभी किसी से कोई शिकवा, कोई गिला नहीं है।
यहाँ से सब जगह से माइग्रेशन हुआ इनटू जम्मू।
यस।
अब ये 370 के बाद जो लोग वापस लौटने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, तो फिर वहां से वैली से नेता कह रहे हैं आप डेमोग्राफिकली चेंज कर रहे हो, आप लोगों को बिहार से भेज रहे हो, जम्मू से लोग यहाँ आकर हमारी जगह, हमारी जमीनें छीन लेंगे। वो सच बोल रहे हैं, झूठ बोल रहे हैं?
देखिए, जहां तक जम्मू का है, वी आर वेरी प्राउड कि एटलीस्ट जम्मू डिस्ट्रिक्ट इज अ डिस्ट्रिक्ट जहां जम्मू कश्मीर की हर एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट का आदमी है।
करेक्ट।
और सिर्फ ये नहीं है, अब चूंकि 370 हट चुका है, अब मैं जम्मू कश्मीर की बात नहीं करूंगा, मैं नेशनल पर्सपेक्टिव में बात करूंगा। आप अभी देख लीजिए, दुर्गा पूजा के पंडाल लगे हैं यहाँ पे रामलीला भी हो रही है, दुर्गा पूजा भी, यहाँ छठ पूजा भी होती है, यहाँ पे गणपति का उत्सव भी होता है। ये वो जम्मू है। अब अगर कोई ये कहे, मैं ये कहता हूं कि 370 हटने के बाद जम्मू कश्मीर का एक एक इंच, एक एक हिंदुस्तान के जो वासी है उसका है।
जिस तरह पूरे भारत में हर आदमी कश्मीर से भी जाके सेटल हो सकता है, इस तरह से अगर कोई इंडस्ट्री लगाना चाहता है, कोई यहाँ नौकरी करना चाहता है, कोई यहाँ काम करना चाहता है, उसको पूरा हक है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के तहत। और जब मैं गवर्नमेंट सर्विस करने के लिए गुड़गांव दिल्ली गया, तो मैं गुड़गांव और दिल्ली रहा, तो वहाँ का आदमी यहाँ क्यों नहीं रह सकता अगर वो सर्विस करता है। और मैं जैसे आपको बात कर रहा था, बहुत सारी जगह हैं जम्मू में जिनको यहाँ टूरिज्म पोटेंशियल है और उनको प्रमोट नहीं किया। आपको जानकर हैरानगी होगी, एक गूल जगह है, गूल में एक घोड़ा गली है। वो महाभारत के टाइम में जब अज्ञातवास पांडु आए थे, उन्होंने वहाँ स्कल्पचर किया है, घोड़े और उस पर 2-2 आदमी सवार है। ये पूरे भारत में ऐसी जगह नहीं है, लेकिन आपके उस एरिया को कनेक्ट तक नहीं किया, उस एरिया की कोई डेवलपमेंट नहीं की। आपको पता नहीं होगा, जम्मू कश्मीर में लोगों को पता नहीं है, देश में क्या पता होगा। यहाँ एक मानतलाई जगह है, वहाँ सुध महादेव जहाँ भगवान शंकर और पार्वती की शादी हुई थी, इतना ब्यूटीफुल। और मानतलाई जहाँ वो जो क्या नाम था उनका, वीरेंद्र ब्रह्मचारी, उनका आश्रम है, उसको डेवलप किया जाए, इतनी खूबसूरत जगह है। बहुत सारी जगहें, डोडा, किश्तवाड़, लाल द्रमन, जय और बहुत सारे पाडर, इतने खूबसूरत जगह हैं हमारे डोडा, किश्तवाड़ में और रजौरी, पुंछ में, जिनको अगर डेवलप किया जाए। लेकिन कश्मीर बेस्ड लीडरशिप ने 75 इयर्स में जम्मू रीजन में एक स्ट्रांग फीलिंग है कि उनको बिल्कुल कनेक्ट तक नहीं किया, उनको डेवलप नहीं किया।
दैट नेग्लिजेंस हैज टू बी ओवरकम। बट आपको लगता है 3 साल में हुआ है? और ये कश्मीरी पंडित का रिपैट्रिएशन, इसमें क्या मसले हैं? व्हाई आर पंडित्स नॉट वांटिंग टू गो बैक? और जब जा रहे हैं तो वो ये क्यों कह रहे हैं कि हमें एक ग्रुप में भेजिए, जहाँ से हम आए हैं, हमारा जो कोर गाँव है, वहाँ जाके हम नहीं बसना चाहते। ये एक डिमांड रही है, जरा इसको बताएं।
देखिए, हम 32 साल से सारी संघर्ष यही है, यू वांट टू गो बैक, क्योंकि वहां रिजेक्शन हुआ आपका।
करेक्ट।
वहां कोई साइन नहीं है कि आपका वेलकम और कोएग्जिस्टेंस है।
करेक्ट।
तो ऐसे में ये जो झूठ कहा जाता है कि अपने अपने घरों में, अपने अपने घर है नहीं, किसी का अपना घर है नहीं, वहां जला दिए जा चुके हैं या बेचे जा चुके हैं, या
कब्जा कर लिए गए।
तो आपको वन प्लेस सेटलमेंट की जरूरत है। और वो वन प्लेस सेटलमेंट में जब आप जियोपॉलिटिकली देखें, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिवली देखें, वो सारे आपको इंस्टीट्यूशनल और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल सारे राइट्स मिलने चाहिए। ये कोर इशू हमारा है।
करेक्ट।
कोर इशू जब इस पर आप आएंगे तो आप बेसिक कोर इशू को एड्रेस करना शुरू करेंगे कि कोर इशू है कि व्हाई आई एम आउट फॉर द लास्ट 33 इयर्स।
मैं आपकी एक बात और इस आर्गुमेंट को मैं मानता हूं कि जब आप जाएं तो एक ब्लॉक बनकर जाएं और एक ऐसे कंसंट्रेशन में जाएं ताकि एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट के अंदर आपका इतना होल्ड हो।
आपका जियोपॉलिटिकल और जियो स्ट्रेटेजिक फुटहोल्ड नहीं है कश्मीर में आज की तारीख।
मैं आपका आर्गुमेंट मैं समझता हूं। आई एम जस्ट सेइंग दैट व्हाट दे वांट इज दैट दे आर इन अ साइजेबल नंबर सो दैट दे कैन इन्फ्लुएंस एन असेंबली एंड दे हैव द क्लाउड इन टर्म्स ऑफ वोटिंग क्लाउड, बिकॉज व्हेन यू हैव अ वोटिंग नंबर, व्हेन यू आर अ ग्रुप एज अ वोटिंग नंबर, देन द लोकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन हैज टू लिसन टू यू एंड यू विल हैव अ पॉलिटिकल रिप्रेजेंटेशन टू गेट योर थिंग्स डन। सो दैट्स वन पॉइंट। बट एक और बात ये है कि हाँ, कोई भी अटैक गलत है, लेकिन पिछले 3 साल के अंदर
it is less than 20 Hindus who have been targeted by the terrorists. But every time there is an attack, the whole mahal is hum Kashmir chhod ke jana chahte hain. In the 90s, the establishment was not backing you. Today, the establishment is not just standing with you, but they are standing in front of you to try and clean up the entire system and work this system. My question to you is it fair for the entire Kashmiri Pandit group to say we are moving out of Srinagar, don't send us back, we are coming back to Jammu, the moment there is one incident that happened? And I'm not discounting lives, or I'm not saying that what happened to the Kashmiri Pandits, nowhere. I've been one of the foremost in front. आप मेरी बात समझते हैं. मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि जहाँ 20 हिंदू मरे हैं, वहाँ 40 मुसलमान मरे हैं, नेशनलिस्ट मुसलमान मरे हैं. पर मुसलमान तो कश्मीर छोड़ के भाग नहीं रहा है. वो वहाँ रुका हुआ है, वो फिर भी लड़ रहा है, वो फिर भी झंडे लगा रहा है, वो फिर भी कह रहा है कि मैं आगे आके अपनी बात कहना चाहता हूँ जो इतने साल मैंने नहीं की. तो ऐसे माहौल में क्या कश्मीरी पंडितों को आप प्रोटेस्ट कीजिए, आप आवाज़ उठाइए, लेकिन फिर मैं वापस जम्मू जा रहा हूँ, ये बोलना ठीक है कि नहीं? अग्निशेखर जी, मैं ये पूछ रहा हूँ.
नहीं, आपका सवाल आपके एंगल से बहुत
रिस्पेक्टफुली आपसे
नहीं पर्टिनेंट है आपका क्वेश्चन, लेकिन आप इसमें डेमोग्राफिक स्ट्रक्चर भूल रहे हैं. जैसे मैं जिस मोहल्ले में रहता था, 27 कश्मीरी हिंदूज वहां थे, और किन में, और 20,000 कश्मीरी मुस्लिम में पड़ोसी थे. जब 20,000 मेरे पड़ोसियों ने 27 घर कश्मीरी हिंदुओं को नहीं बचाया, वो साइकोलॉजिकल और इंटेलेक्चुअल और आइडियोलॉजिकल टेररिज्म की आप कल्पना करिए. और
वो मैं समझ गया.
और जो बेचारे मुसलमान मर गए, जो निर्दोष थे, जो नेशनल